to 100,000, Jess. I just.
There you go, done it!
I got it! We got it! Oh my god! 100,000! Oh my god, you've done it, mate! And it's still going! Still going! Oh, it's amazing! Thank you so much! Oh my god! Thank you!
And good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to today's episode of Aussie Overlaw'd. That didn't work in the slightest. God damn it, where's the other one? Come on, you bastard. There we go. That works slightly better, I guess. Hope everyone's doing well. Congratulations to Corey for making his 100,000. I'm very glad I put a towel down. So, did you hear that the Mars rover captured the first sound of a dust devil on Mars? How about that the US supposedly made a game-changing breakthrough in nuclear fusion? Or that New Zealand's passed the world's first law making it illegal for the next generation to take up smoking? No? Guess you're going to have to stick around for all that and more on today's Law, News and Laughter. On this channel we look at legal cases and concepts, world domination, news, and just generally shoot the breeze. We don't give any legal advice, but we can answer questions and hopefully point you in the right direction. We do not shy away from the topics that so if necessary, put on your big kid pants, have a cup of concrete and pull up a chair. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter or via email, and all complaints can be directed to our complaints department. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe buttons, and now let's get into it. At some point I'm going to make it so that that stops actually repeating. How we doing, y'all? Hope everyone's doing well. It is a reasonably lazy Wednesday morning for me. I have taken the day off. It is my mother's university graduation, so I'm going to be... Oh, great, I got some in my coffee. Lovely. Taking the afternoon, which is a little bit dangerous. It's close to Christmas, but I'm going to be working through it. So... have sort of streamlined in terms of the news, which is great because it means that I have some more interesting and varied stuff to deal with. So, yeah, it's going to be a good day. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe button, double check your notifications, because let's face it, Susan hates me. I've noticed that probably 6 or so have been sliced off in the last hour, and I'm pretty sure I haven't pissed anyone off in the last half hour, so see what's going on. Of course, the dominating news here in Australia is still the death of the police officers in Queensland and the private citizen. As it now turns out that the individuals that committed the acts, or at least one of them, was a sovereign citizen. So it's made things a little bit interesting. Here, Russia's sending threatening letters to Australia. Yeah, that was yesterday. They're nice and yeah. First message of the day posted about Corey. There's a new video on his channel. I had a look on the channel. I couldn't see the new one you were talking about. But anyway, irrespective, he has a new video. He got another call from JD as Jack Sparrow. When he gets to 200,000 subs, he'll be knighted. Fantastic times indeed. Oh, good on you, Corey. Guys, if you haven't already, actually what I'll do is I'll chuck the link in the chat. We shall have a look, see... I'll chuck the link in the chat. Actually, there's multiple links that I need to chuck in the chat. What am I doing? So, I was so damn proud of how organised I was this morning. And then I go and do this shit. Alright, I'm going to throw Corey's link in the chat. And then at some point, can someone remind me to put up my link tree at some stage? So, alrighty. Let me just double check that I haven't missed anything. Oh, yes, I have. For the Emu Defense Fund, thank you very much, Xcoma. Very much appreciate that. Because let's face it, they're up gum trees now. King Hayden on an emu. Lovely, thank you very much. Grab the silver. Smoking what though? Ha ha ha. Okay, saw that. Saw that. No mods, you're the captain now, Just Dawn. Have at it. Wasn't shooting, it was just travelling bullets. That's terrible. Thank you, Lorraine, for reminding me at some stage you put up my link tree. Alright, let's get stuck into it, shall we? It should be this one, and we should be good to go. Hang on, I'm supposed to play.
Good evening. As hearts break for two young police officers and an innocent neighbour murdered in cold blood in an ambush and shootout in Queensland, disturbing details are emerging about the armed trio who killed them. One was a conspiracy theorist whose twisted ideas led to 6 deaths and left a nation united in grief.
A guard of honour for 2 young constables.
Oh shit, for a second there I thought that was my video being very grainy. Thankfully it just looks like it's their, the footage that was taken.
And an escort for their bodies from the Darling Downs to Brisbane. Rachel McCrow and Matthew Arnold, just 29 and 26 years old.
They were all
It
fresh
was
recruits.
an ambush, unexpected, swift, brutal, and today an attack on them feels like an attack on society.
It is an extremely emotional and challenging time for the Queensland Police Service.
Constable McCrow graduated only last year, Matthew Arnold the year before. Constables Keely Bruff and Randall Kirk, rookies, and the 4 of them headed...
I feel really bad about having to interrupt this, but I do need to occasionally so I don't get copyright done. Yeah, they were very young, Vicky. One of them was so young she didn't actually have a proper photo in uniform. She had to... the photo that they used in the news article was from her when she was working at the local gym. That's how, like, green she was in terms of the force. So, it's... yeah. So, not great. Not great at all.
down this driveway in Wyembla yesterday afternoon at the request of New South Wales Police. They were looking for Nathaniel Train. Their missing person was inside with brother Gareth and his partner Stacey, dressed in fatigues, all armed with rifles and shotguns and willing to use them.
In my opinion, those officers did not stand a chance. The fact that 2 got out alive is a miracle.
Police watched and heard their colleagues being murdered before their killers were killed.
We believe PLI-2 may be discharging rounds. Shots fired. Appears that PLI-2 is attempting to reload. Here to PLI-1 potentially taking a round here. PLI-1, no movement. No movement from number 2 and appears to be blood on the ground.
They made the ultimate sacrifice.
As they had approached the front door, Constables Arnold and McCrow were ambushed and shot by the 3 occupants at close range. Rachel McCrow lay...
Fuck. Were they lured there? Hang on. Were they lured there? My understanding is that there was a request for the police officers to attend the property by New South Wales Police because it was in relation to a missing persons or something along those lines. I've been focused more on what's actually happened since than the reason for them. But yeah, well, it's not great. If they'd had high-powered weapons, those banned here in Oz, there would have been more deaths. Look, given that one of them had to crawl into the brush and was worried that she'd be shot or set on fire, it's pretty messed up.
Lay wounded, she begged for her life and they killed her anyway. Constable Randall Kirk was shot in the leg running for cover. Constable Keely Bruff hid in long grass, while neighbour Alan Dare was also killed, shot in the back as he rushed to see what was happening. 16 uniformed officers swarmed the property. A wild shootout ensued, as did extraordinary courage under fire as they retrieved their colleagues' bodies and rescued Alan Dare's wife. She was hiding in the back of a car. Heavily armed tactical police besieged the
Shit, so it
property,
could've
and
been
at
worse.
10:30 p.m, Nathaniel Train, Gareth Train and his partner Stacey lay dead. Keely Bruff left the police academy just 8 weeks ago. As she hid, she texted families saying her goodbyes and not only provided ongoing intel, she managed to evade killers intent on murdering her, fearing she might burn to death when they set fire to the grass to flush her out. Chinchilla Police Station, where she serves, is numb.
Just on this, without like trying to take away from the seriousness of this or anything, given this was out in the outback, laying in the long grass was potentially as dangerous. There could have been snakes or anything in there, but I suppose you take whatever actions you can in a life or death situation like that. Like, this is such an absolutely fucked up situation, because, I mean, we're only about 3 minutes through the 12-minute video. We will get there. But the reasonings for why they shot them and that sort of thing, it's... yeah.
Police officers don't deserve that.
Luke Mays knew Matthew.
He was always there to lend a hand. He was absolutely great. Absolute top fella.
This is a small community. People here are grateful for those who protect it.
I want you all to know you're loved, appreciated and respected.
At nearby Tara, a minute's silence as well. Rachel and Matthew were stationed here.
He was always joking, always had a smile on his face. He was a good bloke, Matt. Her and I got on good because she was little like me. She's a lovely girl.
So why? There are no firearms registered to this address, no police intelligence suggesting anything like this could happen, and a look at the killer's background is at the same time dark but also baffling. Nathaniel Train was a school principal. He taught at Walgett in northern New South Wales and Cairns. Stacey was a guidance counsellor in a relationship with both Nathaniel and Gareth, police believe. Their father was a Christian pastor for almost 3 decades.
I've lost 2 children.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say to the police or to anyone else that was involved?
I don't need to talk to you. I've already had a conversation with the police this morning, so I don't need to talk to you.
But Gareth Train has spouted unhinged conspiracy theories for years. We are all pawns, all expendable in the Illuminati game.
Here we go. Makes more sense now with the polyamory. Yeah, it gets interesting. But thank you to everyone that's dropped in from the Racket stream. Hopefully people start filtering in or whatnot. But yeah, this is some bullshit.
He describes the Port Arthur massacre as a government psychological operation to disarm the Australian population. Martin Bryant was the perfect patsy. They declared themselves sovereign citizens, not answerable to Australian law.
He just said that the guy that committed the Port Arthur massacre was a patsy. Let's let that sink in.
And when the law came to them just to help a missing man.
Unfortunately, this incident is a tragic reminder of the unpredictable nature of policing. Every day our officers face very real dangers while protecting their communities. With honour, they served.
And let's go live now to Robert Ovadia at the scene. Rob, what more can you tell us about Nathaniel Train?
Hi Mark, well it's really hard to believe a man who used to be a school principal was capable of such barbarity. Today we spoke with a senior New South Wales politician who had had dealings with him. He said he left the education system embittered by the process. He fell off the grid, lived in Dubbo for a short time. He was last seen there in December last year, maintained contact with family, but it was 6 weeks ago that he fell off the grid again. There were concerns for his welfare, which is why a missing persons report was filed.
Okay, for anyone that doesn't know, Dubbo is in rural New South Wales, so he was disillusioned as a principal, decided to go out into the middle of the country, and then fell off the grid for 6 weeks. That's not a good sign. I mean, not actually wait, but, you know, figure of speech. Yeah, no.
While those 4 officers arrived here yesterday afternoon, every single one of them, Mark, was wearing body cam. The images, I'm told, are very disturbing.
Robert Ovadia in Queensland for us. Thank you. Tributes to the innocent victims, both police and civilian, are being paid right across Australia. Serving officers in particular acknowledging the dangers of the job and suggesting what we all can do to make those risks worthwhile.
At government offices and police stations.
When was this? Last couple of days. I think it was Monday my time. So, oh, hang on, let me double check. I don't want to be a dick and get this wrong. I'm sure someone on chat will get to it before I do, but 2 shooting. Oh, maybe it was only yesterday or the day before. Don't be a dick, exactly. So that's when they were identified. Police. 4 Queensland police officers went to the property on Monday as part of a search for Nathaniel Train, who was a suspect was subject to a missing persons report. Property where the shooting happened is listed as being owned by Gareth and Stacey Train. Nathaniel Train was reported to have been seen in Dubbo. Yeah, so basically it looks like he may have been indoctrinated at a young age. It was on Monday. Thank you, Shaz. So yeah, that would have been Sunday night, US time. Actually, you know, I'll just leave that news article open and we can have a look at that in a minute. Prior history as a teacher does not make a person altruistic. People can break. Geez, news reporters suck no matter the country. Nope. Not disagreeing with that. I mean, look, simple fact of the matter is, we know that there are plenty of teachers that shouldn't be in schools at the moment. We know that. And it's a little bit concerning that this guy was a principal of all people. So he was in charge of dealing with kids. Wait, did they... Nathaniel Train and Gareth Train were both shot there. And they're saying that Stacey was in a relationship with both of them. She was screwing the brothers. Oh yeah, that's I'm guessing they were white people since Hayden mentioning their race. For the most part, I don't really give a shit about race in these sorts of situations. I mean, it's not, like, it's bad as it sounds, it's not a big thing when you're looking at a shooting here in Australia, because that's more the big, like, yeah. But yes, to answer the question next comment, they, as far as I'm aware, they were all white. So what's happening at Chapasky VA Elementary School with the after school club? Oh, I'm not even sure I want to know. Love my stepbro, but in no way in hell are we going to share a shag.
Across the nation, flags at half-mast. In Melbourne, Maroochydore, Tasmania to Toowoomba, at the Queensland Academy, 2 police caps, 2 roses, 2 officers killed searching for a missing person they wish they'd never found. From the Prime Minister, an address to the nation.
With honour, they served, and Australia mourns with you today. We stand with you always.
The shock magnified by the youth of the officers, just 26 and 29.
They were so young, so young. They were incredibly brave.
In Sydney, the New South Wales Premier and Police Minister left flowers at the Police Memorial, where dozens of officers are immortalised.
A very sad day, and our hearts go out to the families of those 2 police officers who lost their lives.
And in Melbourne.
It's an absolute tragedy what's happened in Queensland, and we offer every support.
His Assistant Commissioner noting the Blue family has no borders.
There is a brotherhood and a sisterhood that exists between policing agencies, so it certainly has a massive impact.
Serving officers reflecting on the risks they all face.
You don't expect to go to work to lose your life, and our thoughts go out to those Queensland police officers and their families.
Tributes to for neighbour Alan Dare, who did what neighbours do, went to assist.
A neighbour driven by the instinct to help.
One officer who knows the danger is former South Australian Tactical Officer Derek McManus. Shot 14 times as he served an arrest warrant in 1994.
Every day on the job, whether it's your first day, your 10th year, your 40th year, this sort of...
Wait, did you guys see the tag that just came under that? Hang on.
Shot 14 times as he served an arrest warrant in 1994.
Every day on the job.
Wounded police officer. I get he was shot on the job, but do they still need to class him as a wounded police officer? I mean, I suppose he might still suffer from the injuries or something, but yeah, that's... Anyway. 14 times. Yeah. Where are we? Yep, the blue family is hurting. Yep.
Whether it's your first day, your 10th year, your 40th year, this sort of thing could happen on any job at all.
Feeling not just for the victims and their families, but colleagues facing thoughts of mortality and survivor guilt.
They'll be feeling like that should have been me. I should have done something more. It is wrong to be thinking like that, but it's very normal as well.
And honestly, to be perfectly fair, my heart goes out to the girl that did hide in the grass, because that is exactly what she would be going through right now. This is going to be something that will scar both her and the other surviving officer for the rest of their lives.
But the public can help.
Even the simplest thing as a member of the public coming up and saying, look, thanks for the service you provide, is an excellent way to provide that care.
Chris Reason, 7 News.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. All Australians are shocked and saddened by this tragic loss of life. 2 Queensland police officers, their lives cut short by this atrocity. Constable Matthew Arnold, just 26 years of age. Constable Rachel McCrow, just 29. Constables from Tara Police Station who lost their lives in this tragedy. I pay tribute to them. I pay tribute as well to their surviving fellow officers, Constable Randall Kirk and Constable Keely Bruff. In addition, I pay tribute to a neighbour driven by the instinct to help. Alan Dare also lost his life in this tragedy. 3 lives cruelly cut short. This is indeed a devastating day for everyone who loved these Australians. And our hearts go out to those in the grip of terrible grief. We know that this news has fallen hard on a close-knit and caring Queensland community, as well as, of course, the community to which all police officers belong. Today is a rough day indeed for all police officers and their families. Every officer knows the risk that they face in the line of duty. They are all too aware of the dangers that they face. Yet they do their job, they do it for our community. That is courage, and it is public service at the highest level. And today and every day I pay tribute to each and every one of the police officers who served their local communities and who served their nation. This is not a price that anyone who puts on the uniform should ever pay. We can never count the true cost. My heart goes out to the families and loved ones of all those affected by this tragedy. With honour, they served, and Australia mourns with you today. We stand with you always.
So there you go. Such a waste. Hard to understand cray people. It's very, very true. Alrighty, let's move on to the news, shall we? Oh, actually, no. I still have that news article that I was going to read because it covered some of the other details on this case, just to round it out. And then we'll get stuck into some other stuff. Brothers Nathaniel and Gareth Train identified as gunmen in Queensland siege. Two brothers, Nathaniel Train and Gareth Gavin Train, were shot dead by police during a siege at a property in Queensland's Western Downs. The brothers are the offenders who police say shot and killed two armed officers and neighbour Alan Dare last night at a property in Wyambella, damn it, west of Brisbane. Stacey Train, 45, was also killed at the scene. Hang on. Okay, they didn't specify. Doesn't matter. 4 Queensland police officers went to the property on Monday as part of a search for Nathaniel Train, who was subject to a missing persons report. The Waynes Road property where the shooting happened is listed as being owned by Gareth and Stacey Train. Nathaniel Train was reported to have been seen in Dubbo in December last year, but had been in contact with his family as recently as October 2022. The 46-year-old was a former principal at Walgett Community College Primary School, which is about 700 kilometres northwest of Sydney. He was the executive principal for 18 months up until August 2021, when he said he had a cardiac arrest at his desk, and he then left the school. He'd previously taught in Queensland, but while at Walgett had concerns about the education policy at the school. He raised those concerns with members of the One Nation New South Wales leader, Mark Latham. The Upper House MP told New South Wales Parliament earlier this year that that Train had sent 16 emails over the course of 2 weeks to the New South Wales Department of Education, outlining problems and challenges at his school and requesting assistance. Mr. Latham said Train first reached out to him over 12 months ago. He said that they had never met, only spoke on the phone 3 or 4 times. He said that he emailed Train on July 6 this year and received no response. Nathaniel Train was also principal at the Yorkeys Knob State School in Far North Queensland in 2017. He was described in the local media story as a mild-mannered school leader who decorated his beard with glitter and Christmas baubles to help raise money for the school P&C. Barron River MP Craig Crawford said he met the former principal half a dozen times. He behaved and acted like any principal I've ever dealt with in my electorate, he said. He certainly gave no indication that he was capable of such an unfathomably evil act. Mr. Crawford said he did not know the circumstances of Nathaniel Train's departure from the school a few years ago. He was completely shocked when he saw his name and face and realised that it was the same person who was a principal at the Yorkeys Knob. In deference to the serious nature of this news article, I'm desperately trying not to laugh. What happened in recent years to turn a mild-mannered educator into a murderous cop killer is as alleged. Everyone who had dealings with him at school and teachers and parents and students are all asking the same question. The big one is why. What was he hiding? What hate did he have in his heart that he was allegedly prepared to execute police in cold blood and go down himself in a hail of bullets? The Queensland Education Department confirmed Nathaniel Train and Stacey Train were both former employees. Nathaniel Train voluntarily resigned from the department in March 2020, while Stacey Train voluntarily resigned from the department in December 2021. The New South Wales Department of Education also confirmed Nathaniel Train was employed from August last year before leaving in March this year. One of the deceased was a former New South Wales education employee who had not worked for a New South Wales school since August 2021. He officially left our employment in March this year. Extra counselling will be provided at the impacted school today and for as long as staff and student require support. Well, there you go. Didn't provide too much additional information, just went on about how he was a principal, and that it was so insanely strange that he did it. So, but there you go. Something a little lighter. Yeah, I think we can do that. Read one of the articles I sent you on Twitter yesterday to cheer everyone up. Oh my god, I have my twits. Oh shit. Okay. Whoops. Fuck. Let me just double check that there's nothing there that's gonna... Send a photo, send a link, accept a request. Thank you, accept a request. No, we're good. Okay. Yeah, I'll edit it out later. There was nothing there that there was nothing there that was going to get anybody in trouble, and I'm pretty sure I didn't dox anyone, so... Oh well. What's that? Did you hear they identified the boy in the box? Case has been unsolved for more than 60 years? Huh. Alright, where are we? Can't believe... Bloody hell. Anyway. Okay. Where was I? According to actress Melanie Zanetti, who plays the voice of Bluey's mum Chili, parents are claiming that the show has changed their lives for the better thanks to little nuggets of parenting advice planted in each episode. According to Melanie, there are 2 pieces of advice that parents often tell her have changed the way they parent their own children at home. I've heard parents say that there is an episode where Chili is like, "I need 20 minutes," the star told 7 Life, adding that it's a great way for parents that they can explain to their children that life is not always just about them, but in a gentle and caring way. Parents tell me that this episode has really helped their conversations with their children. The other life-changing advice is the iconic tactical wee, when we encourage our children to pay a visit to the loo before heading somewhere that might not necessarily have a toilet, just in case. The advice changed their lives. Brilliant, I love it. While it's one of the most common bits of advice parents swear by from the series, experts have warned that encouraging your children to do a tactical wee is actually not the right thing to do. Really? As reported back in 2021, doing a just-in-case wee isn't a problem if it's just occasional, and if you have normal bladder function. But doing it too often, making a lifetime habit of it, can kick off a vicious cycle. You can end up training your bladder to think it needs to go when it's only slightly full, and the problem can worsen over time. Wow. Okay. If you're always ducking to the loo to wee at even the slightest tingling sensation, have a go at resisting the first urge, and consider seeing your GP or pelvic floor physiotherapist about it. Oh, there you go. Oh yes, thank you very much for that. I can sort that out. Hold it in as the advice? Yeah, pretty much, apparently. I mean, that's not what the Bluey show was saying, but, fuck. Holding it in can make it worse too. Very true. You should never hold in your wee, can cause infections. That is true too. Okay. California mountain lion P22 captured in Los Angeles backyard after attacking some pets. Hopefully the pets are okay. The infamous mountain lion was captured on Monday morning. Following weeks of mounting fear after attacks on multiple dogs in and around Los Angeles, the infamous mountain lion, known as P22, has been captured after it was found in a backyard. P22 was caught in a backyard in the Los Feliz neighborhood in LA on Monday. National Park Services confirmed P22's capture on a statement on their website. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife and National Park Service have successfully tranquilized the mountain lion known as P22 and transported him to a wild animal care facility for a full health evaluation. After an initial assessment by qualified veterinarians, the lion was deemed to be in a stable condition and is undergoing additional veterinary evaluation. The unnamed homeowner told CBS News that wildlife officials came to her house at 10:45 a.m. Monday to inform her that there was a lion in her backyard and it had been there since Sunday night. She added the officials used what seemed to be a tranquilizing dart on the male feline. Thanks to a tracking collar, experts knew it was P22 right away. Officials then reportedly took him to the LA Zoo. It had a tracking collar, and yet it was so difficult for them to like tranquilize it. What the hell? YouTube wouldn't load. Strange. Need to have an Aussie grab it by the tail and say, what a beaut. P22 sounds like Puff Daddy's next name change. Dragon collars don't work in real time. Yeah, but I mean, how did it happen? Like, how did they get close enough to put a tracking collar on it in the first place? Like, that's what I don't quite understand. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. Okay, where is... Okay, Jacinda Ardern, the New Zealand Prime Minister, caught name-calling political rival David Seymour on hot mic during question time. Well, it's question time, they can say whatever the fuck they like. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has been caught using a vulgarity against a rival politician in a rare misstep for the leader, known for her skill at debating and calm and measured responses. After 5 years as Prime Minister, Ms Ardern faces a tough election campaign in 2023. Her Labour Party won re-election 2 years ago in a landslide of historic proportions, but recent polls have put her party behind its conservative rivals. The comment came after David Seymour, who leads the Libertarian ACT Party, peppered Ms Ardern with questions about her government's record for about 7 minutes during question time. As an aside to her deputy Grant Robertson, Ms Ardern said what sounded like, "He's such an arrogant prick," after sitting down. Her words are barely audible on Parliament TV, but were picked up in the background of her desk microphone as Speaker Adrian Roue spoke. Ms Ardern's office said she apologised to Mr Seymour for the comment. Why? Parliamentary privilege. You can say whatever the fuck you like. When asked by the Associated Press to clarify, Ms Ardern's office did not dispute the comment. Yeah, so she knew she said it, and she knew she got hot-mic'd for it. In an interview with the Associated Press, Mr Seymour said the Prime Minister had used those words. I'm absolutely shocked and astonished by her use of language. You fuckwit, you are not. Are you serious? It's very out of character for Jacinda, and I've personally known her for 11 years. He said it was also ironic because his question about the Prime Minister had been whether she had ever admitted a mistake as a leader and then fixed it. Seymour balls. And she couldn't give a single example of when she admitted she's wrong and apologised. Well, she has now. Mr Seymour said that in her text, Miss Ardern wrote that she apologised, she shouldn't have made the comments, and that, as her mum said, if you don't have anything nice, don't say it. Mr Seymour, who said he admired some of Ardern's political skills immensely, said he had written back to Miss Ardern thanking her for the apology and wishing her a very Merry Christmas. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. I'm totally sure you did. Okay, also on the chopping block, Brittany Higgins reaches confidential settlement with the Commonwealth. Brittany Higgins has reached a confidential settlement with the Commonwealth after the former political staffer's claims of sexual assault at Parliament House. Personal injury lawyer Noor Bloomer, acting for Miss Higgins, issued a brief statement on Tuesday. At a mediation held today, the Commonwealth and Miss Higgins settled her claims. At the request of Miss Higgins, the parties have agreed that the terms of the settlement are confidential. No shit, because when you get a couple of $1 million for alleging that you were raped, whether it's proven or not, you kind of want to keep that under wraps. Earlier in December, Miss Higgins' civil action named three respondents, Senators Linda Reynolds and Michaela Cash, for whom Miss Higgins worked, as well as the Commonwealth. Senator Reynolds is since believed to have been removed from the claim. The document set out Miss Higgins' intention to sue for sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, disability discrimination, negligence, and victimisation. The documents set out Miss Higgins' intention to... I just read that. What am I doing? At the time, the claim was expected to be worth about $3 million, including $2.5 million for future economic loss, past economic loss approaching $100,000, and general damages of $100,000. She was swinging for the fences, but it sounds like she got it. I don't know specific figures, but the rumour mill, and from what I've been able to gather from sources, is that it is approximately 2 mil that she got out of it. So if she plays her cards right, she's not going to have to work for a while. Skip police report, go straight to civil court. No, Meg, she went to police. Sorry. The prosecution fell through because she had a mental break and was found walking in the rain in the middle of when she was supposed to be on the stand during her cross-examination. And there's a whole thing now about the defense attorneys calling for the what's it called? The director of the public prosecutions to stand down over it. So millions of peasants. Inflation is good. We can all be rich and pay 4K for what was a cheap suit. True. 2 million Australian. What's that like? Fucking hell. Look, it could be worse. What is it? It's AUD to USD. So 1.37 mil, roughly. Super chat. Hey, Flux. Am I the only one who thinks Hayden could... What? Very... Crack in the box is dead. I didn't think I was quite that bad. I'm very happy for the... I'm extraordinarily happy for him, though. And if he gets to the 200k... and he manages to get knighted by JD, that would be freaking awesome. So people, the link is in the... actually, it should be pinned to the chat. I'll put it down in the description later. Go and give him a sub. They were at 129,000 when I last looked. It's probably higher than that by now. But in any way, thank you very much for the super chat, Flux. I'm here now. You can officially start. Well, there you go. Oh, damn it. Distraction. Where did I get to? Yep. None of the figures were mentioned on Tuesday. The parties welcomed the fact of the settlement, Miss Bloomer said. Miss Higgins alleges she was raped in 2019 by Bruce Leherman. I still can't... I can't pronounce the way that it is. 134,000. That's fantastic. For whom they both... inside Senator Reynolds' ministerial office, for whom they both worked as staffers. He has consistently denied the allegation. His trial in the ACT Supreme Court was derailed by juror misconduct. Prosecutors decided not to pursue further action. Yeah, people, if you're going to go to court and act as a juror, listen when the judge tells you no outside material. Otherwise, you might wind up costing the taxpayers a few $100,000. If not more. Because that's exactly what happened. That juror bringing in the paper on what constituted sexual assault and rape and all sorts of things, that's messed up. That was a huge mistake. So... Leherman is also considering civil action, including a Comcare claim and defamation proceedings against media outlets. Yeah, so everyone's going for the money in this. Including Ningirl, who is sending me $2. Thank you very much. I subbed before he reached 10k. It's been amazing. Fantastic. Alrighty. Game Changer. I should have a thing for this. This will do. Yes, migraine. Lehrman. I know. It makes no sense to me, and I call him the same name. Well, if they claimed that in the US or California, I'd assume people were gay and that it was a false accusation. I mean, did you see how many insane people in government are gay? No, I haven't. I mean, I'm sure I should. It's your backyard. Fair enough. Has anyone seen Aussie stand up? Bet he's not wearing pants asking for a friend. I'm wearing shorts, they're cargo and they're camouflage. Game Changer. US says scientists have made breakthrough in nuclear fusion energy. After more than 50 years of false starts, nuclear fusion is finally taking a resolute step towards becoming the world's newest energy source. The US Department of Energy on Tuesday, US time, announced that scientists at a laboratory in California had managed for the first time to generate more electricity from a fusion reactor than needed to trigger it. The historic breakthrough raises the prospect that someday, perhaps decades from now, the global economy will run on carbon-free electricity generated by the very process that powers the sun and the stars. The fusion breakthrough will go down in history, US Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm said. Okay, politicians already involved, I'm totally fucking out. Literally, before they mentioned any of the scientists, before they mentioned any of the research, any of that shit, they had a politician in there. Now I don't care. Which is fucking annoying. Hang on, where's the spring from this? The thing had, it had a spring so you can reload it, but now I don't know. Oh well. It's a stunning moment for technology that has failed for nearly half a century, and it comes as leaders of the world's 10 biggest economies and dozens of smaller countries have pledged to transition to clean energy sources. But fusion is unlikely to help boost faltering progress towards net zero emissions, at least not without work that most experts think will take decades of additional development. That means this historic breakthrough probably won't help displace traditional fossil fuels at the moment, when the world is facing an entrenched energy supply crunch and greenhouse gas levels are still rising. We have to take a positive but skeptical approach, said Andrew Soda, a senior technical executive at the independent non-profit EPRI, formerly known as the Electric Power Research Institute. You're going to have to demonstrate that you can take the energy and turn it into something useful. Fusion energy is produced by melding together atoms and is the power source of the stars, whose immense gravity crushes together atoms of hydrogen to form helium. With fusion, there's no long-lived reactive waste. That's a stark contrast to fission technology currently used in nuclear reactors to generate electricity. Fuck Granham, she fucked Michigan with no lube. Okay. Researchers at the at the Energy Department's Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory used lasers to bombard hydrogen isotopes held in a superheated plasma state in order to fuse them into helium, releasing a neutron and carbon-free energy in the process. Chefs have been nailing fusion for years. The reaction produced about 2.5 megajoules of energy compared to the 2.1 megajoules used to power the lasers. Oh, fantastic. I'm sure there's some scientists in chat. What's 0.4 of a megajoule worth? To move this technology out of the lab, a fusion system would need to be affordable and easy to build. However, the Lawrence Livermore test uses some of the most powerful lasers ever built. They're big, costly, and not readily available for mass deployment. That would make it difficult to convert this technical accomplishment into a successful business. The fact that you have net energy gain does not mean that you'll have a commercial device on the market. Yes, we have fusion, but at what cost? Still, the announcement should unleash funding and support for a civilian technology development program, said Stephen Dean, the president of Fusion Power Associates. The technology has drawn billions in investments from backers including Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Peter Thiel. Recently, it also started to win support from sovereign wealth funds, national development banks, and venture capitalists, a sign that the industry is starting to look more of a serious concept. Startups, including the Commonwealth Fusion Systems LLC and Helion Energy Inc., attracted $2.3 billion in support in 2021, with backers likely to direct more than $1 billion to the field this year, according to Bloomberg. Other notable companies include Marvel Fusion, TAE Technologies, General Fusion, Tokamak Energy, and Zap Energy. This makes no sense whatsoever. Why? Like, that's just a plug for a bunch of companies. 0.4 of a megajoule, 111.11 watts. Okay, thank you. Heard this a few years ago, but they've actually done it. Apparently they've done it, it's just not on a feasible, No, the fact that they're just, like, plugging the companies, it didn't make sense to me. For a split second there, I was like, how is this just not a paid ad? Have MI Space Technologies on? I got no issues. I mean, I'm assuming that Space Technologies... Although, I was going to have MI Space Technologies on in a very specific video to talk about their technological achievements with rockets and stuff. It's a funding ad? Yeah, okay. Nuclear-powered motorcycles? We can always hope. We can always help. We can always hope. How the fuck am I in shorts? It's 9 degrees. Probably because my wife has been unwell, so she's had the heater on for... What the hell is that? Okay. She had the heater on all night, so... Not totally worth the cost yet, but it's getting close. Fingers crossed. Camouflage equals commando. The only reason I'm not standing up is because I don't want you to see my stomach, okay? So a net waste of 297 megajoules. Okay. Take a while, but we're getting close. Need to use nuclear pumped lasers, but they're scared of them. Easier to explode. Yeah, but we can't be afraid of the explosions. That's what I was saying the other day. We can't be... If we live in fear of the negative consequences of experimentation, provided it's done in a safe environment. Like, if they're going to do this, do it out in the fucking middle of, like, the desert or some shit like that. But, I mean, just because something explodes doesn't mean you stop. I mean, look at what happened with... No, I'm not saying learn to love the bomb. I'm saying that when the shuttles exploded, it didn't stop us from trying to go back into space indefinitely. I know that there was a pause or whatnot, it slowed down, all that sort of stuff. It didn't stop us from trying to get to Mars. It definitely opened a... Been closed for 20 years, more input energy is required than we're able to sustain viable output. Okay. Magnetic ones seem like they have better end use possibility. It's just a cool proof of concept. Gundams, here we come. We can only hope. You can't quantify it without voltage. Okay, alright. Jennifer Granholm screwed Michigan and has no experience with energy until Joe Biden appointed her. Oh, fuck. Seriously? Where's Nico when you need him? Joking, love nuclear fusion. Okay. They suspend plasma in supercooled magnets. Okay, so you do know about this. Okay. Alright, this will... you know, I'm going to write this down, and I will include this for our interview, because that's a very interesting topic as well. Gundam's hard. Wonder what I would do with one. Personally, I could think of a couple of countries I'd step on. Got a laser sitting next to me that's strong enough to cut through 1 centimeter of wood really easily. Damn. How can you say the word laser not in a Dr. Evil accent? Mostly because I can't remember what Dr. Evil sounds like. It's been ages since I've watched Austin Powers. It's a scam to get more money from wealthy people? Maybe. Okay. Know quite a bit about tokamaks and fusion. Sweet. Alright, well, we'll certainly have some fun with that then. Was that must see the whole trilogy? As in you haven't seen it, or you're telling me to? Because keep your Gundams, you'll stick to Battletech and MechWarrior. Oh shit, I gotta take this. Hang on guys, I'll be back. Sorry about that, guys. It's always better that I take a call where I'm going to get paid, though, so... Yes, that's a good point. Don't be on the... what do you call it? Don't be on Top Chat. Try to build one. The tech is not viable yet. All done commenting now. Hang on. What were you trying to... I'm going to have to scroll back now to see what you were building. Were you trying to build a Gundam? In which case, cool. Need to write some words to go with this music, then we're going to all have a sing-along during the breaks. There is music... Sorry, there is a theme song coming along. We've got various people working on various things. I want to give a very big shout-out. I don't want to dox them just yet, okay? But some of the stuff that I've seen so far is absolutely hilarious, and I'm loving it. You know who you are. Always watch all 3 Austin Powers films. Have the box set on Blu-ray. Sweet. A fusion generator. You've tried to build a fusion generator. I mean, look, admittedly that makes a certain amount of sense in your line of work, but holy shit. So, there you go. Alright, moving on. Now I've got to make sure that I don't reopen the ones that I've already covered. Trigger warning, because this one's pretty fucked up. Man publicly hung from crane in Iran amid protests.
We have more breaking news for you. A man has been arrested following a deadly shooting in Adelaide. Nine's Kelly Hughes is in Edwardstown this morning.
That's got fucking nothing to... Oh, I hate these websites sometime. That literally has nothing to do with this. Iran has executed a second prisoner convict over crimes committed during the nationwide protests, challenging the country's theocracy, publicly hanging him from a construction crane as a gruesome warning to others. The execution of Majidreza Renavard on Monday came less than a month after he allegedly fatally stabbed 2 members of the paramilitary force after purportedly becoming angry about security forces killing protesters. Death begets death begets death. If he was properly tried and they found him guilty of that, I still don't think that they should have hung him from a crane. Are you fucking kidding me? The development underscores the speed at which Iran now carries out death sentences handed down by those detained in demonstrations that the government hopes to put down. Okay. Is it hung or hanged? I prefer to say hung. Hanged. Hanged. Like, don't get me wrong, he still killed 2 people. But it was in retaliation for them killing other people. So I'm a little bit on the fence as to which... Yeah, I don't know. Low hung. Low hanging fruit. Activists warn that at least a dozen people have already been sentenced to death in closed-door meetings. At least 488 people have been killed since the demonstrations began in mid-September, according to human rights activists in Iran, a group that has been monitoring the protest. Another 18,200 people have been detained by authorities. Iran's Mizan news agency, which falls under the country's jurisdiction, published a collage of images of Renavard hanging from the crane, his hands and feet bound, a black bag over his head. Masked security force members stood ground in front of concrete and metal barriers that held back a crowd gathered early on Monday morning in the Iranian city of Mashhad. Mizan alleged that the deceased had stabbed 2 security officers to death on November 17 in Mashhad and wounded 4 others. Yes, alleged, but... Yeah, I'm starting to have more issues with this. I'm starting to have a lot more issues with this. Footage aired on state media showed a man chasing another around a street corner, then standing over him and stabbing him after he fell against a parked motorbike. Another showed the same man stabbing another immediately after. The assailant, which state TV said, which they alleged was Renavard, then fled. The Mizan report identified the dead as a student, Basij What? Oh, God. Okay. How's it look on the screen? I want to see it. No, okay. I'm gonna... Okay, that makes it a bit easier so that I can actually... The Meisen report identified the dead as student Basij, a paramilitary volunteers under Iran's Revolutionary Guard. The Basij have deployed in major cities, attacking and detaining protesters who in many cases fought back. A heavily edited state television report aired after the deceased's execution showed clips of him in the courtroom. In the video, he says he came to hate the Basij after seeing video clips on social media of the forces beating and killing protesters. The Meisen report accused the deceased of trying to flee to a foreign country when he was arrested. Okay, let's put this into... Let's try and wrap my head around this, okay, if we can. This guy supposedly killed 2 people that are effectively, like, the country's secret police, or whatever you want to call it, the equivalent of the, I mean, it said students, though, so is this like the equivalent of the Nazi youth or something? I don't... Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Because whilst he may have deserved to be punished for what he did by ending the lives of someone else, if he was ending the life of people who were ending the lives of others, then I've got a little more sympathy for him. This is, like... This reporting's really fucked up. I just wish they'd had the appropriate video. Have they got anything else in terms of the video? No, apparently not. Alright. Let me have a quick look at the chat. Bunch of people laughing at me, I suppose. Hang 'em high, damn it. What's the problem? Well, the problem is that, I mean, it's just sending a message. Yeah, see, here's the thing. I mean, Dwayne, if this was in a different time and a different place, say during, I don't know, the Revolutionary War, and he had killed 2 British soldiers, would you be saying to hang him? Iran's still probably safer than Chicago. Like, that's the thing. That's how murky this is, to me. And I think it's got more to do with this news article than anything else, frankly. Spill his tea into the harbour. Okay, moving on. New Zealand passes the world's first tobacco law to ban smoking from the next generation. New Zealand has introduced a steadily rising smoke age to stop those aged 14 and under from ever being able to legally buy cigarettes in a world-first legislation to outlaw smoking for the next generation. Associate Health Minister Aisha Verrall said of the laws passing on Tuesday, thousands of people will live longer, healthier lives, and the health system will be $5 billion better off for not needing to treat the illnesses caused by smoking, such as the numerous types of cancer, heart attacks, strokes, and amputations. New Zealand is believed to be the first country in the world to be implementing an annual rising smoking age, ensuring tobacco cannot be sold by anyone born on or after 1 January 2009. It will be accompanied by a slew of other measures to make smoking less affordable and accessible, including dramatically reducing the legal amount of nicotine in tobacco products and forcing them to be sold only through special tobacco stores rather than corner stores and supermarkets. The country has also increased funding for health services and campaigns and rolled out quitting services specifically for Maori and Pacific communities. The number of stores legally allowed to sell cigarettes will be reduced to 1/10 of their existing levels, from 6,000 to just 600 nationwide. The laws passed their final reading on Tuesday evening and will come into force in 2023, as New Zealand attempts to reach its goal of making the country smoke-free by 2025. While introducing the laws for the first reading in July, Verrall said, "For decades we have permitted tobacco companies to maintain their market share by making their deadly product more and more addictive. It is disgusting and it is bizarre. We have more regulations in this country on the sale of a sandwich than a cigarette." How deadly are your sandwiches? "We want to make sure young people never start smoking, so we'll make it an offence to sell or supply smoked tobacco products to young cohorts. People aged 14 when the law comes into effect will never be able to legally purchase tobacco." Smoking rates are plummeting, she said. Our goal of being smoke-free by 2025 is within reach. The new laws, however, will not restrict vape sales. Data indicates that at least some New Zealanders have swapped their nicotine habit from cigarettes to vapes. Data released in November showed the number of people smoking daily had fallen to 8%, down 9.4% from last year, marking the lowest rate since records began. The rise in daily vape users, however, was larger than the drop in daily smokers. 8.3% of adults are now vaping daily, up from 6.2% last year. Just got here, had to spout something off. Fair enough. Fuck the government and try to stop my smoking. Government loves cigarettes, they can tax the hell out of it. That's just it. That's why I think they're actually, like, they're legitimately trying to do something here and deal with the health. I mean, look, we know that tobacco causes cancer. We know that smoking has adverse side effects to your health. But at the same time, if people want to do it, let them do it. Just take away the government funding for the health consequences. I don't care. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't appreciate it when people put themselves in situations where they cause their own detriment. I do think that everybody on this planet has a duty to mitigate your own circumstances. Bad for your health, great for your soul. So, I'm just wondering if maybe it's gotten to a point where they've sort of negated smoking to a point where it's not worth it for them to maintain, you know, departments for licensing and all sorts of stuff. So the taxing that they're bringing in is not worth it. And maybe that's the reason for the push. But anyway. I still want to smoke, but I'm not supposed to with oxygen on. What was that? To be fair, the last sandwich, what? Oh, I missed that. That looked funny. Remember when there were vending machines in the street purely selling ciggies? God, I feel old. To be fair, the last sandwich I got at the airport would have killed me if I ate the whole thing. Yeah, and look, the Fool's Gold sandwiches that Elvis used to have 2 of. I've had one of those. And he was having 2 of those a day. No wonder. Did I get it wrong? Basically, someone that's born after a certain year will never be able to buy cigarettes their entire lives. No, that's exactly it, Isabel. Anyone that was born in 2009, so someone that's 14 now, will never be able to buy cigarettes or tobacco products in New Zealand. Can they do THC dabs, though? Well, I think technically that's still supposed to be illegal. So. Sorry, I just got to reply to an email. I don't know. Look, there's always going to have to be a balance because the government's always going to want to regulate things when they're not supposed to, but at the same time, there are certain things that it isn't necessarily it isn't necessary for humanity as a whole to have access to. You know, genetically engineered. How do I say this? Genetically engineered or modified with government funding things that require umbrellas. Government's just a bunch of tyrants trying to regulate your life. True. New black market's going to spring up. Oh yeah, there's going to be kids at school going, hey, you want a fag? Oh shit, you want to smoke? I got a, I got a 6-pack, I got a pack of 20. I'll, $5 per smoke, you know, sort of thing. Try that shit in the US, see how it goes over. Smoke Marlboros, and I'm 68, don't want to quit. There you go. Already a booming chop business. What is forbidden's always sought out, yeah. $5 a Lucy. Okay. Yeah, you must have been the cool kid in the school. No, I was a nerd. About the... Sorry, I know that this is riveting. Just give me a second. Okay, that's that dealt with. 100% played Yu-Gi-Oh in high school. How did you know? Okay, let's be clear. I was chess club captain, debating captain. When I lived up in Darwin, we played some serious Yu-Gi-Oh! And like Magic the Gathering and that sort of thing. But that was, God, that was years and years ago. I collect Pokemon cards now. I still collect some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I just haven't been, haven't really bothered. In university, I started off as the Director of Publications at the Commerce and Law Society, worked my way up to Treasurer, then Vice President, then President of the Society, and I was there for, I was the President of the Society for probably 2 full years at least. So, how old am I? I am 31, going on 32 in about a month. So, long story short, people, yes, I was a nerd. Yes, I was the, to be fair though, I did occasionally still play on the basketball team. And I was still good mates with most of the guys, so like, I don't know if they were taking the piss, but some of the guys used to call me what they would call a sport nerd. So I personally didn't feel very sporty, I'm not gonna lie. But in years 10, 11, and 12, when I was working as a trolley collector for Safeway, pushing, 10 or 12 trolleys at a time up a very steep incline, I was fit. I was pretty damn fit. So, I also played baseball. Wound up being a coach for baseball. Did rowing for a couple of years. That didn't really stick. That caused me to have surgery on my lower back at one point, so I was the bookie. So, no, look, to be perfectly honest, I was all over the place. I was a jock that was a nerd, American football, wrestling, shot put, and discus, plus I played D&D and video games and Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the simplest way to set it up. That's probably what it is. A jock that's a nerd, basically. Because you can nerd out about things and be really into things and enjoy doing all your nerdy stuff, but you don't necessarily have to be a geek. So, what went wrong? I settled down, unfortunately. That's what went wrong. Are you aware that cigarette companies put addictive chemicals in smokes? Yes, I'm very, very aware of that. I know a dude that smoked a butterfly in a bong. I'm not proud that I know a dude that did that. There you go. Okay. Not even sure what to say about that. Mighty Meat was known around town as the masturbator. You didn't even put a space in it. Or make it, the master baiter or the master baker or anything. No, I was just out there jerking it off. Fuck, that's gonna get clipped. Propylene glycol is in vape, but propylene glycol is in pretty much everything. That's the annoying thing. Yeah, what was that? Oh, yeah, it's Nick's birthday on Friday, isn't it? I was a nerd, but I was on the varsity tennis team as a freshman. Football guys in my computer and video game editing classes loved me. Smoked a ton of bud with jarheads. Yeah, the main thing is to like broaden your horizons and not get pigeonholed in a particular clique. True Renaissance man. Kid that everyone thought would go Columbine. Shit. Damn, Cynic. Was there a particular reason why? The telltale sign is if there's a pocket protector in the jockstrap. It's Branca's birthday on Wednesday, is it really? They have baseball in Aussie. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. No. Hang on. Baseball, whilst not as big as like if I have to put it on a scale, it was the top ones are always rugby, cricket, and Australian rules football. After that, you've got things like your baseball. Fuck, what else is there? Soccer. It was the other one I was trying to think of. No, we have dedicated fields. In my hometown of Bendigo, there's one pretty much in every major suburb. And, yeah, we had various teams and whatnot. So, yeah, I played Little League. I studied in what they call the Academy of Sport, which is like the elite. They pick the best out of the various teams and then they train them up to try and make them into a state squad. In the end, I wound up coaching that instead. Because I was sort of better at that than I was anything else. So, but yeah, we definitely have baseball. Did you read the news of Ron DeSantis and the vaccine grand jury? No, have not as of yet. Am I going to be on for Nick's birthday? No clue. Quite possibly, maybe. We'll see. Depends whether or not... I mean, look, I have no issues with being bumped for some of the more... what do you call it? For some of the more high... have any Aussie players played in the Major League? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've had some exports. Hang on. Okay, so apparently there are currently 42 Australians playing in the major leagues in America. Okay. Oh, actually, that's better. Thank you to Wikipedia. If I do it by debut, that might give me who the most recent one is. Okay, so most recent debut was June 2021, was Alexander Wells, who plays for Baltimore. Aaron Whitefield, who plays in the outfield for the Minnesota Twins in 2020. Lewis Thorpe, 30th of June 2019, also for the Minnesota Twins. Looks like the Minnesota Twins pick up a lot of Aussies, actually. There's someone that plays for the Detroit Tigers. Oh, sorry, no, his final game was in 2018, never mind. Liam Hendricks, Minnesota Twins, still active. Yeah, so there are some Aussies that make it into the major leagues. So, you know. Asbestos is in brake pads. Let's not get started on asbestos, shall we? You hated gym class? No, fair enough. Yes, remember to like... If you've enjoyed my content, if you've enjoyed the little, like, piss takes that I take and watching me boomer the shit up, please, by all means, feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Do make sure you check your notifications. You do actually have to press the bell and actually decide which notifications you want to receive. I will say that it is quite straightforward, and I do believe there is a good chance that YouTube has been slicing off more subscriptions. So just make sure that you actually have got... Oh, thank you very much. We have a new member. I'm going to say Navy B. Thank you very much. What was I going to say? Oh, that's still up. Hang on. Yeah. it's... Anyway. Oh, look, we officially have the Frodo Frogs in chat. Someone found the new emoji. I was wondering when someone was actually going to find that. So, who doesn't want to watch some Boomer? Fair enough. How's my Twitter doing? Look, my Twitter's moving along. Like, I don't specifically promote it, but it's probably the easiest way to get notifications and that sort of thing, aside from get the notification halfway through the program. I get notifications of my own videos 2 or 3 days after I've posted them. Like the one that I posted last night of the 12 Aussie Days of Christmas, which, yes, by the way, I will be doing one of those daily until we get to all 12 days. Yeah, I got a notification that had been posted sometime this morning. Oh, come on. Alright, hang on. I told my office to only call me if it was important. I'll be right back. Bloody hell. Alrighty, so sorry about that, people. Unfortunately, occasionally duty does call. Managed to wipe off 10 viewers. Lovely. Alright, how do we do? Woodstock 2. Oh no, that's way back. The only good thing that ever came out of Australia was Hugh Jackman. Oh, really? I suppose that's one way of thinking about it, but I mean, you know, Chris Hemsworth, Liam Hemsworth, Margot Robbie. I'd say Hugh Jackman isn't the only thing that has come out of Australia. Love to see promotional videos from you, the Kangaroo Report. We should, okay. Last comment has a link for Corey's video talking to JD on his phone live at the time. Oh, really? Okay, hang on, Lorraine. I identify as a Hemsworth brother. As do I. Go buy some crypto and get ripped off? Well, I suppose you can if you want. Damn, okay. Put a link. I want to see The Kid Knighted by Johnny Depp. So the link specifically to his channel is already pinned in the comments. I'm going to have to actually have a look to see if I can find where the new video is. Hang on. I love that there's a website called Pirates and Princesses. Like that's just adorable. Yeah, I still can't see it. It's not showing up on his page. I'm looking at his videos. We've got the 100,000K, which I played earlier. Turning on the lights, 10K. Captain Jack Sparrow sent me a message, but that was 2 days ago. He's at 136,000 subs now, which is fantastic. Do I want to add as competitor? I think that'd be in poor taste, frankly. Anyway. Aussie football's pretty entertaining to watch. Look, it can be. So. Alrighty, okay. Nintendo's YouTube copyright strike called a slap in the face for game preservation. It's no secret that we love video games. Not only do we love video games, many of us lived through significant heydays of gaming eras, from the 1970s and 80s arcade boom and then video game market crashing in the US all the way to today. Within those last 5 decades, there have been many successes, failures, and could-have-beens. Well, Nintendo decided to make a copyright claim against a YouTube channel based on one of those could-have-beens. Popular YouTube channel Did You Know Gaming had a video about a game that never came to be known as Heroes of Hyrule. Nintendo, however, submitted a copyright claim, causing YouTube to pull the video from availability. This is very negative for many reasons, but especially for the sake of historical preservation. Of course, this isn't the first time Nintendo has issued strikes on YouTube channels and other sites. Most recently, the Internet Archive provided an ability to download every issue of Nintendo Power. It took less than 2 days for that to get pulled down. They also issued a massive copyright strike issuance to another YouTube channel that specifically was attempting to preserve game music. The video about the heroes of Hyrule highlighted a game that involves Zelda characters in the game that looks similar to Final Fantasy Tactics by Retro Studios, the creator of Metroid Prime. The pitch was about 20 years ago, and the project never moved forward. From a journalistic standpoint, everything about this is fair game to report on. Nintendo doesn't seem to care, though. Nintendo has a history of being quite reactionary when it comes to its IP, and anything negative or outside their intent or purview. For example, there was a rumour that Netflix and Nintendo had a deal to create a Zelda series, but after someone involved in the project confirmed the leak, Nintendo pulled the deal. Of course, if you're in the mood for Nintendo IP content, the Mario movie is still on its way. No comment. Leave Nintendo alone! There's another downside to not having this historical archive from a development standpoint. Video game development in a massive industry worth billions of dollars with 3 big console manufacturers and PCs. If a developer wishes to pitch a project to someone with an intellectual property, seeing how past projects failed to get past that phase provides insight on how best to move forward when trying to get your own work approved. We don't want an oversaturation of low-quality games. Steam. Good old games. The Nintendo Play Store. I mean, I don't think it's actually called that, but the Nintendo eShop. Anyway. That is how the video game industry crash of the 1980s happened. After all, but that's precisely why keeping these archives, reports, and historical representations available to the public is extremely important. What do you think, guys? If something's over a certain period, do you think you should be able to report on it and mention it irrespective? I mean, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, this should specifically come under a fair use exemption anyway. But would you think that if something is over a certain age, that it's important for it to be able to be preserved? Specifically, if someone who owns the copyright isn't doing it? Like that, it seems like it's appropriate for me. Sorry, it seems appropriate to me for people to be able to preserve things. I mean, it's literally like washing history. Don't we do that already? Like Winnie the Pooh can now be made into a horror flick. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like, because that's different. That's when things enter the public domain after the expiry of copyright. I'm saying that things as... Wait, what? Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. Sorry. Lockdown's 2.0 the movie. Like there are plenty of TV shows and movies and music and whatever from the last 20, 30 odd years that I think it's important they be preserved. Like there are dozens of TV shows that I wish that I could watch right now, but I can't because they're stuck in some sort of like legal loophole or black hole where the copyright owner won't allow them to be like streamed or made available or anything like that. I mean, even now trying to find like episodes of Transformers Prime, like certain episodes are available in certain places. For the most part, I can't watch that in its entirety. Stuck in the void. Yeah. And God help me trying to find some of the owners don't give a shit yet won't allow the use. It's weird. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that if the owners aren't doing anything with the IP and they're not making it available or something, then the original should be able... Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Statuesmus. The original should be preserved and able to be seen. advocating for movie piracy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if we, like, it sounds stupid, but comparing it to, need to bust out the old VHS tapes. What I'm trying to compare it to is history. Think about the library at Alexandria. Every work known to man, just... We don't get Doctor Who half the time, damn you BBC. Yes, exactly. And imagine a world... So there are... Okay, that's a prime example. No one knew whether or not Doctor Who would actually be any good, whether or not it would be seen as a... whether or not it would be a success or a failure and that sort of thing. So various tapes got taped over. Even now, they're still scouring the globe, hoping that there's a tape somewhere. I think it was it was only a few years ago they found another one that just happened to be lying around in a broadcast station somewhere in like Southeast Asia or something. Movie piracy is essential to weigh against the free use laws who favour major media companies. New video is called Johnny Depp, Phone Call with Johnny Depp Part 1. Community? Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna take that and I'm just gonna search that in YouTube. That's really weird. It wasn't showing on the channel, but there it is. Okay, alright. Let's see if I can manage this without screwing up again.
Hang on.
Alright, pause. Pause. Turn off the news page. Turn on YouTube.
Mom tablet.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, is that Corey?
Yeah.
Hi, Corey. I'm Jason. So nice to meet you.
Hi.
I've I gotta run off for a second, but I've got a friend who wants to say hello. But, hang on.
Why the candles? Like that's a little bit weird to me. What's the candles about?
Corey.
Behind you.
Corey.
Hey.
In character and everything, I love it.
Hey.
Hello, Corey. How are you?
I'm really, really good.
Oh shit!
As I can.
Hang on. Mom tablet.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, is that Corey?
Yeah.
Hi, Corey. I'm Jason. So nice to meet you.
Hi.
I gotta run off for a second, but I've got a friend who wants to say hello. But, hang on.
What's with the hat? Oh, it's his pirate hat. I don't know why, but from that angle, it looked like it was like one of those Russian hats.
Corey.
Behind you.
Corey.
Hey.
Corey.
Hey.
I'm a little frightened, Miller. Hello, Corey. How are you?
I'm really, really good.
Nice to see you. As I can see you. You know the funny thing?
No.
My name is, in fact, Corey.
Oh, God. I gotta pause because of YouTube, but holy crap, this is cute. Alright.
Is it?
It's not Corey.
You're Jack.
Originally, it was something else, but now it's Jack. Sometimes. Whenever you want it to be Jack.
Whenever you wanted to be Jack, that's cute.
I have something else. I wanted to say, I'm extremely flammable, yet I'm amongst so much fire with the candles that I fear this intrepid adventure may go awry. How are we?
Very, very good.
Very good. What are you doing?
Talking to you.
It's Marty meeting Nick. God, this is cute.
Well, that's a bad move altogether. I have been informed that in your country they say hello by twizzling their noses. Is that the truth? Like that. Two noses like that. Because I find it filthy, I must say. I don't want to touch another person. Do you want your nose touched?
Yeah.
I don't want your nose. You do?
Yeah.
Well, I'll touch your nose. Then I'll touch your nose if you'll touch mine. No, I'll touch your nose. But don't touch mine. Unless you want to. Now, what is that wonderful chapeau?
What? What?
What are you sporting?
Tricorn.
You're wearing a tricorn.
Yeah.
As dumb as I look, I'm not as dumb as I look as much as you think I am dumb as I look. I'm dumb, but not as dumb as this. Therefore, I brought you something.
What?
I felt it only right if you weren't... Oh! Sorry, hit a bump. I thought it right if you were going to meet with me and me meet with you, you and us meeting together, me, myself and I, you, yourself and you, the six of us all at once, thought it only right that I dub thee. I shall knight you.
Did he just make a cocaine joke? Could well have. Okay, so there you go, guys. If you haven't already, please go and hit the sub button for the kid. It's for a Make-A-Wish. He is legitimately, like, the kid is terminal. It's to make his time memorable. And as it is, I feel like I'd be pretty damn, like, that'd be, you know. But that's pretty cool. That's really great of him to be doing that. So, okay. Dinah left puzzled after being confronted at all-you-can-eat buffet for eating too much. When dining out at an all-you-can-eat buffet restaurant, you would normally assume that this would be the one place where you could eat as much as you want without fear of judgment. Alas, one foodie recently found themselves in a bit of a confrontation after taking too much from the buffet. They'd been excited for breakfast They'd been excited for a breakfast time visit to the buffet, and so piled their plate with a towering of scrambled eggs before getting back up for 2 rounds of pancakes. After munching their way through these, they went back for round 4, only to be met with a dirty look from a fellow diner. Oh, wasn't it? They weren't even getting told off by the staff. It was another diner. Fuck you! If I'm at an all-you-can-eat buffet, I'm making back my money. Taking to Reddit, shock horror, the unnamed diner wrote, I recently went to an all-you-can-eat buffet. I really love food, so I was excited. I went around to breakfast as soon as I got there, got a big plate, had it, bread laid with bacon and a tower of scrambled eggs. I sat down, ate it all in about 5 minutes, as I'm a pretty fast eater. Went back, got 3 pancakes absolutely smothered in maple syrup, butter and whipped cream. Careful of the heart attack. Oh, excuse me. And I ate it all and went back for yet another thing of pancakes. This time, I saw a woman giving me a dirty look. I got my pancakes and went and ate them. I went to get the bread, eggs and bacon again, but the woman approached me. She told me I shouldn't be eating this much as there are other people here, and it's a lot for the chefs to cook for only me to eat it all. I brushed it off, got what I went back for, and ate that. She was looking at me from another table still. You nosy fucking Karen. The baffled diner who left shortly afterwards went on to clarify that the woman didn't appear to be an employee at the restaurant, but had been sitting eating at a table as well. Despite initially assuming that they'd done nothing wrong, they'd since come to doubt themselves. One fellow Reddit user commented, "It's a buffet, it's all you can eat, not all she wants you to eat. The restaurant's figured out how much it charges in order to make a profit based on how much people are eating. It will profit on some and lose on others. The staff will get paid and it's their job to cook. Unless you are taking entire trays of food, you weren't going to make a dent in their workload. The woman, whether she worked there or not, and I'm thinking she didn't, had no reason to insert herself into your life. Damn fucking straight." Another advised a buffet set up so you can take as much as you want. You would be an arsehole if you took the entire tray of eggs or bacon, but taking even large portions isn't wrong. The staff should be monitoring the buffet line and prepping the next trays once it starts to get low. Once a new tray is ready to bring out, minimal wait times. While I'm impressed at the amount you managed to put away, they are very easy to replenish. The lady was just being nosy and bossy. No shit. She had absolutely no right to insert herself into this situation. Just because she was sitting there with her quinoa salad for breakfast or whatever, probably, she had no right to tell anyone else what they could and couldn't eat at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Only thing I like about Disney World, the all-you-can-eat buffets. Fair call. Anyone who kicks out a patron at an all-you-can-eat buffet is a bum. Damn fucking straight. I hate when people fill their entire plate with one item, like taking all the crab legs. Fair. Bogan Karen. Should have smacked her a couple. Never been kicked out, but have been around others who almost did, but I finessed them out of it. Well, there you go. Okay. Jimmy Lai's security law trial postponed to September 2023. Media tycoon, who was 75 and has been denied bail, could face life in prison if found guilty of alleged collusion with foreign forces. The long-awaited and delayed trial on the national security charges of jailed Hong Kong billionaire Jimmy Lai has been postponed for 10 months after the prosecution said it was waiting for a decision from Beijing on whether the media tycoon should be allowed to have a British lawyer on his defence team. Oh yeah, because they're going to allow that. Lai, the founder and chairperson of the now-closed newspaper Apple Daily, is charged with colluding with foreign forces and is the most prominent democracy campaigner to face trial under the law. The 75-year-old is behind bars since December 2020 and could face life in prison if found guilty. He's already been there for 2 years. I'm fairly confident they're waiting for him to expire behind bars anyway. Lai has argued through the Hong Kong courts to get his preferred lawyer, veteran British barrister Timothy Owen, on his defence team. The Court of Final Appeal, the territory's highest court, in late November dismissed a government appeal against the two lower courts' rulings to allow Lai his choice of counsel. But the government has claimed that allowing foreign lawyers into national security trials could reveal state secrets, and after the CFA ruling, Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee asked China's top legislative body to interrupt Hong Kong's basic law, its mini-constitution, on the issue. Get the fuck out of here. Just because Britain handed over Hong Kong per the agreement with China or whatever, now all of a sudden they're charging people that are pro-democracy and speaking out against them, and then now they're worried about state secrets? Pretty sure that the state secrets would already be out there. Have I seen the interview that Boot gave? Not yet. Is that worth it? Charged with conspiring with foreign forces, tries using foreign lawyer, not the best move. The Standing Committee on the National People's Congress is expected to meet later this month, and Lai's trial on Tuesday was postponed until September 25 next year, pending its decision. While the Lai case is not yet on the committee's agenda, it would mark the 7th time that since Hong Kong was returned to Chinese rule in 1997, that it has intervened in such cases. The Standing Committee's decision will further damage the independence of the lawyers in Hong Kong and make it even harder for those in political trials to exercise their right to legal counsel, the Human Rights Watch said in a statement ahead of the trial. As a former British colony, Hong Kong long permitted judges and lawyers from common law jurisdictions to practice in the city. Many have since left the national security legislation was imposed, and a Standing Committee ruling could further diminish their role. It was obvious that the CFA has in effect been losing its final adjudication power promised by the Basic Law when the executive government disrespects the local common law system and judicial independence, said Eric Lai, the Hong Kong Law Fellow of Georgetown Centre for Asian Law. Did you hear about the new Call of Duty spin-off? It's Call of Duty Emu Uprising. That could actually be fun. So, there we go. Alright. Okay. Trigger warning. Tragedy beyond words. 3 boys aged 8, 10 and 11 dead after falling through the ice in the UK. I don't think I can do the video. 3 young boys have died after falling through an icy lake in the UK, with another fighting for life in hospital. A desperate rescue mission was launched for the children in Babsmill Park in Solihull, West Midlands on Sunday afternoon. 4 of the children were rushed to hospital after being pulled from the icy water. Police today confirmed that 3 of the boys aged 8, 10 and 11 have tragically died. A 6-year-old boy remains in critical condition in hospital. Police have not confirmed whether the boys are related and said the families were absolutely devastated. Officers said searches are continuing the lake amid fears more children could have entered the water as temperatures plunged to -3 degrees Celsius overnight. -26.6 degrees for those in the Americans. For those that use Fahrenheit, I should say. This will continue until we are absolutely certain no one else is in the water, and we are not currently looking into a criminal investigation. 3 boys have tragically died after falling into the lake at Babsmill Park in Solihull yesterday afternoon, 11th of December, the statement said. The boys aged 11, 10 and 8 were rushed to hospital after being pulled from the water. Sadly, they could not be revived, and our thoughts are with the family and friends at this deeply devastating time. We'll have specialist officers offering them as much support as we can. A 4th boy aged 6 remains in critical condition in hospital. Searches of the lake are continuing as we seek to establish exactly what happened and if anyone else fell into the water. Heroic officers and members of the public jumped waist deep into the freezing water to rescue the kids after they went into cardiac arrest. One policeman who attempted to punch through the ice suffered mild hypothermia but has since been released from hospital. Holy shit, they had to punch through the ice to get to the kids. I can't think of anything more terrifying than being under the water like that. Holy fuck. No, that's not true. I can think of many things that are more terrifying than that. But that would be absolutely terrifying. The children were pulled from the water and given CPR at the scene before being rushed to hospital. They are understood to have been playing on the ice covering the water when they fell in. A resident told Today how she heard the children screaming moments after the horror unfolded. I'm feeling numb, she said. It's just too close to home and absolutely heartbreaking. I heard the sound of the children screaming and I knew it was bad. That sound will go with me to my grave. There was pure panic and fear. I just heard such a commotion and then the most emergency services I've ever seen in my life. Distraught locals told how the bystanders had yelled it wasn't safe to go to the lake, which had frozen over in the cold weather. Witnesses said that the ice cracked beneath 2 of the boys and the others got into trouble when they rushed over to help. I got here with my friends at 2:45 p.m, said Sophie, 23. There were a group of youngsters playing near the lake, which was completely iced over. 2 of them had gone onto the lake and people were shouting at them that it wasn't safe. Then the ice cracked and the leg of one of the boys went in. The other 3 on the bank then went in to help and soon they were all in trouble. Specialist divers were drafted in to help search the lake last night after firefighters received a report of 6 children in the water. Officials feared they are no longer alive due to their age and the temperature of the water and the length of time spent in it. Richard Stanton, West Midlands Fire and Rescue Services Area Commander, described the deaths as a tragedy beyond words. The commander also issued a warning to stay away from open water and ice as temperatures continue to plummet across the country. We know the weather forecast for the next few days is expected to be bitterly cold, and in no circumstances venture onto the ice, regardless of how thick or safe you think the ice might be. Stuff of nightmares? Yep. No, you're not alone in the fear of drowning. The average high there this time of year? Damn. We're America. Not stupid, we know negative Celsius is below freezing. Okay. Well, just like to be helpful. Damn, Hayden. First the Aussie story, now this. You just want to hurt us. It's an emotional roller coaster ride. How else am I going to keep you coming back? If I don't give you a little, take a little, give a little, take a little. Here you go, ladies. TikTok users distracted by hot pilot who shares things that he loves most about his job. Social media user Garrett regularly shares videos online about his life as an airline pilot, from how he got into his job in aviation to why you don't have to be afraid of flying. Recently, Garrett took to TikTok to share the 5 things he loves about being an airline pilot. Posting the video to his account, he listed the things no 2 days are the same, his love for aviation, and the flight benefits. Heyo! Like our emotions dealer, the first taste is free. In the video, which has more than 25,000 likes, for a TikTok video, that's like, what's negative 38 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius? No calculator or web search. I have no fucking clue. I legitimately admit that I don't know how to do the conversions. That's why I look them up every time. You're waiting? What are you waiting for? Did I miss something? It's negative 38 degrees. So... Oh, is that where they meet? Is negative 38 where they meet? Oh, cool. Okay, thank you. Huh. What degree Celsius does water boil? Generally 100, but it does depend on the mineral composition of the water. Never needed to know that without a PC or a phone handy. Thank you for picking the hottie last night. It was very appreciated, and Mighty Meat gave you the credit for the pick. You're welcome, ladies. Oh yeah, and it does depend on the elevation. That's true too. Okay, at least there's no audio to this, which means I can't really get done for copyright strike. But look, as a bloke, okay, I'm leaving this to the blokes in chat, ladies. Keep it to yourselves. I'm curious. Blokes, rating another bloke, what would you put him on a scale of 1 to 10? Personally, I would consider him probably a 4. Like, yes, he might be mildly attractive, but he doesn't concern me. Like, I wouldn't be worried if he was hitting on my missus. He looks gay. He's a pilot. He was basically just saying what the different things in his day are. He's legal hot. Okay. One, no day is ever the same, whether it's the weather, aircraft maintenance, unruly passengers, you name it. Two, it's kind of corny, but love for aviation. Aviation still puts a smile on my face each and every single day. Can't imagine doing anything else. Three, flight benefits. Let me tell you, flying anywhere you want, basically anytime, basically for free. Sounds pretty dang good to me. Four, the time off that you get for being an airline pilot, and also the pay, it's pretty good. And finally, getting to explore new cities while at work, it's pretty cool. Okay, well, good on you, mate. But apparently said 7 and meant it. Okay. Earlier in the year, pilot Anna Paul shared a jelly trick that can help passengers conquer their fear of turbulence. In a viral video, she told passengers to visualize that the jelly is in the air and a scrunched up piece of napkin is on the plane. What? What? What does his voice sound like? I'll see whether or not there is there music to this. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I just want to replay the damn video.
When I talk like this.
Yeah, no, he's not talking at all. It's just he's got music over the top of it. So, no clue. Sorry, ladies. Federal government to change child abduction laws to consider domestic and family violence before making rulings. The federal government has changed the law to address concerns regarding the way Australian courts deal with international child abduction cases where a parent has fled domestic violence overseas. Some legal experts and victims of domestic violence have been caught up in legal matters filed under the Hague Convention that have warned that Australian courts are sending women and children back to countries where they have escaped abusive partners. The Hague Convention is an international agreement between dozens of countries, including Australia, that is designed to swiftly respond to cases where a child has been taken by one of their parents to another country without the consent of the other parent. Attorney General Mark Dreyfus has agreed to amend the law to make it clear that allegations of family and domestic violence can be considered before Australian judges issue orders for a child to be returned to their home country. How the fuck was this not already enshrined in legislation? Like, don't get me wrong. There's clear issues where, you know, occasionally it's one parent that is just being a dick and stealing the child to take them international. But if you're actually escaping from a domestic violence situation, that should probably be included. Like, that should be considered before making a ruling to deport them back home. How was this not already enshrined? That doesn't make sense to me. Up until now, it's not been possible for the courts to take adequate account of family and domestic violence that's occurred, he told the ABC. What we've done with these new regulations is to amend the law to protect parents and children fleeing family and domestic violence. In the future, these regulations will make it clear that allegations of family and domestic violence can be considered before return orders are made. Under the Hague Convention, applications for a child to be returned can be rejected if a court decides that the child would face a grave risk of harm or be put into an intolerable situation. Mr. Dreyfus says the changes will clarify that family and domestic violence can be considered as a defence under the grave risk exemption. The amendments will also clarify that judges can impose very tight conditions on issuing return orders to protect a child from exposure to family and domestic violence, even if the court is not satisfied that such violence has occurred or will occur. Australia fully respects our international obligations under the Hague Convention, Dreyfus said. These regulations affirm that the protection from family and domestic violence is an important consideration in proceedings. Legal experts say that the convention, which was first drafted in the 1980s, was created with good intentions but has not evolved as social understanding of the prevalence of domestic violence has shifted. In one case, in 2008, Englishwoman Cassandra Hasanovich, who had fled to Australia with her 2 sons, was stabbed to death by her husband after she returned to the UK when court orders were issued under the Hague Convention. The changes have been done by regulation and do not require the passage through Parliament. They will come into effect immediately and will not apply retrospectively. Calls for changes have simmered for months, but were dismissed by former Attorney General Michaela Cash, despite some coalition members agitating for a review last year. The courts are well placed to make such decisions and consider a range of matters in making their decisions, including submissions from parents, Senator Cash previously told the ABC last July. Since becoming Shadow Attorney General, Julian Lesser has taken a very different stance, saying that courts have failed to give adequate consideration to allegations of domestic abuse. The courts giving insufficient weight to the evidence of family and domestic abuse in Hague Convention cases can have devastating consequences, he had previously said. What a damn surprise, not shocked at all. Went to his page, sounds douchey, seems like he's kind of a tool. Well, that just poured some cold water on the ladywood, didn't it? Well done, Mimi. But there are a lot of false domestic abuse reports. That is true, Barbara. It is a balancing act. But if the courts weren't able to take them into account at all, which actually that doesn't sound like it was the case either, so it's, I don't know. I don't know, there's a reason I don't practice in family law. You're just going to take the word that they were abused, or does there need to be police reports before returning the child? I would expect that there be, like, at least some sort of formal process. I don't think it would be able to be just, you know, a blanket excuse and cover for it, so... Help, he hitted me. Jonathan, show me on the doll where he hitted you. Ladies don't get wood. I don't care if it's 2022. That's not a lady. Have you never heard that phrase, Valhalla? Some law is very dramatic more than others. Really think you should look into the Chinese nationals that get removed from your country with this and where they go. I dare say I'd never hear anything about it, Glitterfart, honestly. I mean, I'll certainly keep an eye out, but with the secret police shops and things like that, I don't know that it'd make it that far, to be frank, in terms of Chinese nationals. Family law just sounds awful. Imagine dealing with this stuff all the time. Time for a drink. Did you see Jack responded to the Twitter files? Sir, you were the CEO. It's a little late now. I hadn't actually seen it. I specifically haven't covered the Twitter files because our good friends Mighty Meat and Valhalla are doing a good job of that. At some point, I'm going to be a dick and cover them all, but we'll do that in a compressed format. So, I think I heard Brittany Griner talk about it. Really? Okay. What, the lady would? Okay, Japan changes archaic law assigning men paternity over ex-wife's child after a divorce. Revisions to the 19th century code also mean that pregnant women are now allowed to remarry within 100 days of a divorce. No, I didn't say that I don't watch Mighty Meat streams. I'm just saying that I'm not covering them. What's the Twitter files? Whole bunch of like Twitter emails and all sorts of shit that's been released. Sharon, if you don't know what it's about, I highly suggest you go over to Mighty Meat's channels and watch, because the drops are very, very interesting. Never heard of Ladywood? Okay, alright. I guess that's just, maybe that's an Aussie thing. A landmark amendment to Japan's civil code this week will see the scrapping of archaic restrictions on women's legal rights to their children and their ability to remarry after divorce. The legislative changes enacted on Saturday come after years of debate over a controversial 19th century paternity law stating that a child born within 300 days of their mother's divorce is presumed to belong to her ex-husband regardless of his biological ties with the child or whether the mother had already remarried. Interesting. So, if there's infidelity and the child is not his, it's still presumed to be his even up to almost a year after divorce. That's fucked up. But at least they're changing it. Could you imagine what would happen if they had that kind of law in the US? Be a whole lot of baby mamas making a whole lot of bank. With the amendment, children born within 300 days of their mother's divorce can now legally be recognised as the offspring of the new husband if she remarried by the time the child by the time of the child's birth. However, the 300-day rule will still apply if the woman has not remarried by the time of giving birth. Wait, really? I mean, I know that's not like really the done thing in Japan, but if a woman goes out, God forbid she gets raped, but if it's like, if she goes out and has a one-night stand and gets married, it's automatically considered to be her ex-husband's child? That's fucked up. Previously, only ex-husbands were allowed to enter arbitration in order to deny paternity of a child born within 300 days of their divorce, but under the revised laws, mothers and children will now also be allowed to file paternity disputes. Oh! That was a bait and switch. So the father can deny the paternity, but the mother can't. Okay. Under the revised laws, mothers and children will now also be allowed to file paternity disputes. The eligibility period for filing such arbitration is also being extended from 1 year since knowing of the child's birth to 3 years. The Civil Code amendments, which will take effect in 18 months, aim to reduce the number of unregistered children in Japan. Since the law was introduced in 1896, many divorced women, especially those caught in domestic violence situations, have chosen not to register their children to avoid having their ex-husbands recognised as the legal father. Unregistered children often have difficulty accessing healthcare and education or obtaining a passport. According to a survey by Japan's Ministry of Justice in August, 71% of some 800 unregistered people surveyed said that they had not been registered children because of the paternity law. Is this Jerry Springer? Gender inequality remains pronounced in Japan, especially compared to other developed nations, with it ranking 120 out of 156 countries in the 2021 World Economic Forum Global Gender Gap Index. Japan is the only country in the world where married couples are legally mandated to share the same surname, and under the National Household Registry system, children are usually considered part of the father's register, not their mother's. The revised code, passed in the House of Councillors plenary session, also saw the scrapping of a law banning pregnant women from remarrying within 100 days of divorce. The time frame was previously shortened from 6 months to 100 days in the 2015 Supreme Court ruling. In a 2015 Supreme Court ruling. Initially meant to... Oh, God. To avoid... Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've been having a little bit of reflux. Initially meant to avoid uncertainty about who would be the legal father of a child born shortly after the divorce, the law has long been criticised for being discriminatory towards women. To be honest, without a DNA test, that's how it is. Even cases of guys with DNA tests proving kids not theirs and they still have to pay child support. The People's Court, some of the like the TikTok videos when I'm looking for content and that sort of thing, there was one guy that spent 10 years in prison. 10 years for not paying child support for a child that turned out not to be his. That's fucked. Like that's messed up. Not your DNA is not your child. Look, I don't... Coming from a family where I have a stepfather, I don't necessarily agree with that, Barbara. My dad is going to be my dad till the day I die. But, you know, anyway. In Japan, they adopt adults so they can inherit businesses. That's true. That's really funny, actually. I find that quite funny. Ooh, you good worker. Me adopt you. Oh, fuck, that was racist. Oh, shit. I wonder what happens to biracial children. That's a good question, actually. They haven't really covered that. There you go, Mighty. At this rate, you're going to wind up with 100 subs. Congrats. God only knows how many kids I have running around pumping up baby, but... Oh, God. Civil case activated. Aren't you guys glad that there are DNA tests? Yeah. I'm terrified that there are people out there that are stupid enough to ask, why don't the women have to take DNA tests? The drops are usually in the first hour or so, the rest is craziness. That is true. That's very true. If you're born in Japan to non-Japanese parents, you're not a citizen. Wow! Really? Might be spending too much time on our videos. A little bit, Val. I'm not going to lie. A little bit. Who was the other one that did it? No, so Valhalla and Mighty Meat basically collab on doing the drops. And they do some great things. Mighty Meat's got individual videos as well that I think you put out at, what, midday most days? So, there's also that. Okay. Alright. Unless you accept them as your child, I should say. I mean, you should be forced to accept a child that isn't yours. Yep, fair enough. Okay. Usually noon, science, tech, sport, and at noon, Monday through Friday. There you go. Only recognise one side in China, and that is China even if dual. Really? Okay. Okay. Alrighty, moving on. Mars rover captures the first sound of a dust devil on the red planet. What's a dust devil sound like on Mars? A NASA rover by chance had its microphone on when a whirling tower of red dust passed directly overhead, recording the racket. It's about 10 seconds and not only rumbling dusts of up to 24 miles per hour, but the pinging of hundreds of dust particles against the rover Perseverance. Scientists released the first of its kind audio on Tuesday. Be interested to hear that. Sounds strikingly similar to dust devils on Earth, although quieter since Mars's thin atmosphere makes it more muted and less forceful for wind, according to the researchers. The dust devil came and went over the Perseverance quickly last year, thus the short length of audio, said the University of Toulouse. It's got to be Toulouse. Naomi Murdoch, lead author of the study, appearing in Nature Communications. At the same time, the navigation camera on the parked rover captured images, while its weather monitoring instruments collected data. It was fully caught red-handed by Percy, says the co-author. Photographed for decades at Mars, but never heard until now, dust devils are common at the red planet. This was in the average range of at least 400 feet. Tall and 80 feet across. It's just photos. Oh no, we have video. Oh, really? Well, that was a hell of a lot of nothing. Mildly disappointed by that. Your name is on that rover? Are you serious? Wow, okay. What a time to live. No one has ever heard that before. No. Look, admittedly, it's amazing to do I prefer YouTube or Rumble? For the most part, Lorraine, I don't really have a preference. Just the main thing is at some point I'm going to put a video up on YouTube, basically as my intro video, so that if I ever get kicked off YouTube, at least you'll know that I'll still be streaming on Rumble. So, yeah, the rovers are cool. Not going to lie there. Okay. Oh, I don't care about that. Argentinian court clears woman of killing her baby after obstetric emergency. A woman in Argentina accused of killing her baby after suffering an obstetric emergency has had her case dismissed. A court in Buenos Aires cleared Lachina. It's got to be Lachina. It's Buenos Aires. Name changed, 43, after the prosecution withdrew its charge of aggravated homicide. Lachina, a migrant from Venezuela and mother of two, told the court she did not know she was pregnant when she expelled what she thought was blood clots in December 2020 while at home in the capital. Lachina has polycystic ovary syndrome, which results in severe pain and irregular heavy periods, along with what medical experts diagnosed as pregnancy denial, a psychological condition. She had lived through a previous obstetric emergency and had been unaware of other pregnancies. Look, I know, as someone that has experience with polycystic ovaries, in a general sense, condoms work. Like, would help, would assist. Doubt you have any YouTube strikes. Got a warning because my daughter singing Christmas songs sounded like Hitler speech? Really? Yeah, Lorraine Val does. He has his own channel. There are a lot of people in this situation who are being prosecuted, and I really hope that my story is relevant to all of these women, Lachina told the court before the verdict. Why do I keep saying China? The ruling was a victory for women's rights activists who had been campaigning for Lachina's release and fighting against the criminalization of women who suffer miscarriages and stillbirths in Argentina. How the fuck is a miscarriage or a stillbirth a crime? Can someone explain that to me? Like, unless you have caused the miscarriage, like, I need a second. Hang on, why is that? There we go, that's better. That's supposed to be on top. This could be any of us, says Rosana Fanjul, a member of Libre La Quieremos, one of the groups that supported Lachina. When the country legalised abortion up to 14 weeks in 2020, the government also promised to drop charges against women being prosecuted under earlier abortion laws. In 2020, a study found that more than 1,500 women had been accused of having terminations between 2012 and 2020. But women such as Lachina are still being charged with homicide for undergoing what lawyers and supporters are saying are miscarriages, stillbirths and other complications. The same study found that at least 37 women had faced charges either for homicide or abandonment of a person for possible obstetric events. The Center for Legal and Social Studies in Buenos Aires said poor migrant women are more likely to face prosecution. In a closing statement, prosecutor Garciela Alicia Gilles-Carbo noted that there was no evidence that Lachina was aware she was pregnant or in labour. Beyond the fact that it has not been proven that she knew she was giving birth to a child, nor that she had homicidal intent when she wrapped it in sheets and put it in the garbage container, I also have not found proof that the child was alive when she carried out those last actions. She said that the notion of the good mother is so strong in society that anyone who does not recognise their pregnancy is immediately disapproved of. It took the state 2 years to recognise that this had to do with a health problem and not something that should be criminalised, said Indiana Guarino, an Argentinian lawyer and director of the Penal System Practices Observatory, who supported Lachina. This precedent is very important for all women who are still in this situation in Argentina. They may contest the rovers at JPL California. Have a picture of me next to Perseverance. It's a huge rover, much bigger than Pathfinder. Damn. Holy shit. Excoma, what are you doing to me? Thank you for the 10 memberships. Going off to Anna T, Lorraine, Sharon, Allegrina, Michelle W, Mimi, Alan, Forbidden Ruin, Will Call Magic, and NL Wolf, I can never pronounce that, Salus Wolfhond. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Such a bro? Abso-friggin-lutely he is. HK is going to be on the replay. Fair enough. Okay. Moving on. ASIC launches court action against Star executives. Thank fuck, this is a video.
Being very careful about these allegations as they're about to be tested in the federal court. But basically, ASIC, the corporate regulator, is alleging that these 11 current and former directors and executives failed in their director duties and also were not alert to the risk of money laundering breaches, which has been a current theme throughout the various inquiries into Star Entertainment and all the earlier Crown. But also that ASIC's alleging that the board at Star approved the expansion of Star's relationship with, quote, certain individuals with criminal links rather than addressing the money laundering risks by inquiring as to whether or not Star should be involved with these criminal organisations, given what they were briefed or told allegedly about those criminal links, and that they didn't take the appropriate.
Okay. So basically, ASIC is saying that Star Entertainment was potentially money laundering and engaging in other criminal activities. Damn, Mighty, that must have taken a bit of effort. Huh. Okay. That all seems like a bit of bullshit for me. Heading overseas, and a French court has sentenced 8 over the 2016 truck attack in Nice. A French court has found 7 men and 1 woman guilty on Tuesday for their roles in the 2016 truck rampage in the southern city of Nice, in which 86 people were killed. Attacker Mohamed Boulel, I'm just going to use the last name, Mohamed Boulel, was shot dead by police on the spot after causing devastation and chaos on a 2-kilometre, 1.2 mile stretch of Nice's Seaside Boulevard, where families have been celebrating Bastille Day. The Paris court found Mohamed Garib, the main defendant and a friend of Boulel, guilty of belonging to a terrorist organisation. He was handed an 18-year prison sentence. The judges also found that Chokri Arefa. Wait, what? Okay, so is that supposed to be 2 names then? Because it then goes on to say 2 other high-profile defendants. I reckon that's 2 people. Chokri Charufranda and Ramzi Arifa. Okay. 2 other high-profile defendants who have been accused of helping Boulel to obtain weapons and the truck. Guilty of belonging to a terrorist organisation, they were handed jail sentences of 18 and 12 years respectively. 5 other people were handed sentences of between 2 and 8 years. None of the defendants were accused of taking part in the attack or even of complicity, a decision which survivors say they were struggling with. Islamic State claimed responsibility a few days after the Nice rampage, but offered no proof that the attacker, who had a record of domestic violence and petty crime, had any direct contact with the group. The verdict can be appealed. Oh, of course it can be appealed. What, are you fucking kidding me? This dickhead. Neo-Nazi Thomas Sewell allegedly hurled racial slurs at a security guard before assault. Right-wing leader Thomas Sewell hurled racial slurs at a security guard before allegedly attacking the man outside Nine Network's Melbourne offices, a court has been told. Sewell, 29, leader of the European Australian movement, faced Melbourne Magistrates Court on Tuesday after pleading not guilty to assault, affray and recklessly causing serious injury over the March 2021 incident. He is accused of punching a security guard in the head several times outside Nine's headquarters. Sewell visited the offices on 1 March with a cameraman and demanded to speak to someone from A Current Affair just hours before it was due to air a segment about neo-Nazi groups featuring Sewell. Sewell claimed ACA was showing his group to be a terrorist organisation and said that the program had not contacted him for comment. They're not required to. It's a courtesy when they do, it's good journalistic practice, but they're not required to. As we saw from Tug going through the hit piece about Andy Popcorn Planet yesterday. Just because Kat reached out and asked a whole bunch of questions didn't mean that his answers were going to get used. And they didn't. He responded to all those questions and it literally got summed up with, he has denied the allegations. Honestly, mainstream media, journalists used to be held with a certain regard. Then they sold themselves out for, I don't know, some sort of shit. They gave up their journalistic integrity, basically, and that's how I wound up on YouTube. So, but anyway. A video of Sewell speaking to a camera inside the building was shown in court. In it, he said that the Current Affairs staffer were cowards for refusing to meet with him. The security guard then walks over, puts his hand on the camera lens, instructing the two men to stop filming and leave. The guard, who appeared as a witness on Tuesday, told the court that he showed Sewell and the cameraman an area outside where they were permitted to film, but they instead filmed near the door. They eventually moved back, but he claims Sewell then began playing the song Dance Monkey. Both men did refer to, "Oh, the monkey is dancing the dance monkey." I took that to be offensive, the security guard told the court. I said there's no need for any racial slurs, and then I hand gestured that I would appreciate it if he would stop. I'm not a monkey. The guard said Sewell delivered a one-punch attack, and he fell to the ground, hitting his head on the concrete before Sewell allegedly continued to punch him. I was held by my jacket collar, punched in the back of the neck, and then continued to be punched repeatedly while I was trying to move away from Thomas Sewell, he said on Tuesday. After a few punches, he told the court that he stood up and was separated from Sewell before walking back into the building. An ambulance was called after the guard suffered injuries, including bruising and swelling to his head. He was less traumatized by the incident. Several Nine employees gave evidence on Tuesday, including Assistant News Director Leanne Jones, who said that the incident made her feel sick. She was outside the building on a break when she heard the most horrific bang when the guard's head hit the ground. Sewell's lawyer, James McQuillan, claimed his client acted in self-defense and was defending his cameraman. Fuck right off! He alleged that the security guard lost his temper and grabbed the cameraman by the throat after being told a dance monkey, which the guard denied. If they're saying dance monkey to a guard, I have no problem believing that they made something up to try and cover the cameraman's ass. She heard it outside, holy shit. No, she was outside on a smoke break, and she heard it. Like, it's not like it was able to be heard inside a 12-story building. McKillen also accused the guard of imagining music was being played, which the guard said was totally wrong. Dozens of Sewell's supporters attended the court or observed the hearing remotely, including far-right extremist Blair Cottrell and Neil Erickson. Magistrate Stephen Ballack asked those on the link to turn on their cameras to view their faces, as some were hiding under pseudonyms. One supporter said the magistrate's request was abuse, and another was almost removed from the call after using a photo background of Hitler Youth. Sewell, who is on bail, is scheduled to return to court on Wednesday. Future security guards should be in pairs. Generally, you don't expect security guards to need to be in pairs, but I mean, I know that cops generally travel in pairs for this specific reason. I want to see whether or not there's any footage. Like, as horrible as it sounds, I want to know whether or not there's anything that... like, I mean, presumably the cameraman would have been smart enough to delete his own footage. But, so, 9 headquarters. Mr. FBI and ASIO, if you're watching, I'm purely looking this up because I'm interested to see whether or not there's actual footage of the attack as opposed to anything else. Okay, so there's photos. Is there video? I mean, that to me looks like it's been taken from a video.
Instead of working on...
Oh, fucking ads. Oh, what am I doing? I don't even want to show that on that screen. Hang on. Hang on. Boomering it. Just play.
A dark
already.
underbelly, clear as day. A Nazi salute outside court. A supporter, one of many, for Thomas Sewell, the alleged neo-Nazi leader, pleading innocence.
You're claiming self-defence?
Absolutely. Claiming this was self-defence.
Jesus!
In March last year...
Sorry about that, guys. That caught me by surprise. Didn't realise it was going to be quite that bad. But yeah, self-defense, like I said, get fucked.
Here, several blows to a security guard, Thad Francis, outside Channel 9's Docklands headquarters. It left him in hospital. Sewell claims the guard attacked first.
Out of reasonable self-defense for the cameraman to stop him from having his throat crushed, I disabled the attacker.
In his lawyer's words, you throat punched him with an open hand in response to this apparent racial slur.
Dance, monkey, dance. Watch yourself, bro. I'm not a dance monkey. Watch yourself.
A suggestion denied by Mr. Francis, the first of 7 witnesses, as Sewell faces assault charges.
When a comment was made by another person, that's when he attacked that person. He lost his temper and he struck them to the throat, and that's when I defended my colleague.
Sewell and an associate had been filming in the Channel 9 foyer before Mr. Francis ushered them out. They wanted to confront journalists about a planned white supremacy expose. The racial undertone's clear even in court. At one point, a video-linked spectator was told to take down a neo-Nazi background, while when others were told to take off hats and glasses, one responded with, "You wouldn't ask a Muslim to remove a burqa."
If the lying press can show the truth for once, then the Australian public will know the truth.
Adam Hegarty, 9 News.
Fuck me sideways. The guard called him a Fruit Loop, I say justified.
The head of a neo-Nazi group, Thomas Sewell, has been arrested at gunpoint in dawn counter-terror raids. Dougal Beattie's following the story. Now, Dougal, he's still being questioned by detectives?
He was picked up...
When was this? Might have pushed him, hit him in the throat in the process, but he's entitled to the way with the way that they were behaving. Look, I mean, it's private property. They were told to remove themselves. You can use a certain amount of force to remove someone from private property. But yeah, that's. I mean, it's on camera that he beat the shit out of the guy, disproportionate to self-defense. I'm sorry, if he's on the ground and you are still pounding on him, you can fuck right off with self-defense. I'm interested to see what the rest of this has got to say, though.
Up in a dawn raid at his home in Roval, Pete. Thomas Sewell is the head of neo-Nazi group called the Socialist Network. He is currently on bail after being charged over a violent assault on a security guard at the Channel 9 building in March.
Oh, no shit, this happened in between. He was on bail for this incident when he's been arrested. Oh, fuck.
This morning, he and another 22-year-old man were arrested over an alleged violent armed robbery at the Cathedral Range State Park last Saturday afternoon. Now, during that incident, a group of men allegedly smashed the windows of a car before threatening the people inside with a knife and stealing their mobile phones. Thomas Sewell is a former member of the ADF, and he made headlines back on the Australia Day long weekend when his group burnt a cross in the Grampians and chanted Nazi slogans. Now, he is currently being questioned by counter-terror police and...
What the fuck? Okay, so here's my problem, people. One of the things that we specifically don't have here in Australia is freedom of speech. How is he not being dealt with? "100% a CIA op, you reckon?"
No charges have been laid. Pete?
Dougal beat him.
Fucking hell. Anyway, point is, he was out on bail when he was arrested because of that. I can't believe he was stupid enough to break into a car, though, and commit a burglary. Like, if you're... It's so stupid it makes you wonder. Yeah. If he's... It's actually hurting my head. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm assuming that if he's that far deep into, you know, neo-Nazism, that he can't be particularly intelligent. But... Like, holy shit. Hang on, what's going on with the... Hang on, guys. Sorry, something's happened at daycare. What? Okay. Anyway. How bright do you think he is? It's a good point. It's a very good point. For something on the lighter side, a barrister's husband tells the court he was harassed by a journalist while walking a prized cavoodle. The husband of a barrister is suing a current affair over broadcasts about an Insta-famous dog custody dispute, and he has told the court he was harassed by a journalist while walking the animal near his home. If you're on a public street, you're able to be, like, followed and... Well, not followed, but you can't be stalked, but you're able to be filmed and whatever because you're in a public space. So, harassed is probably a bit of a stretch. How can you not have freedom of speech? I thought Australia was past the King and Emperor times. Honestly, Len, I wish we had freedom of speech. What we have as an implied freedom of political speech. That's about it. So, if someone's harassing you by touching or pushing you, maybe, but that's not what's happening here. No, look, A Current Affair and Today Tonight have been infamous for literally, like, having the news people and the cameraman literally chasing people down the street for a news story. Like, when the people run because they don't want to be on camera or whatever, there's literal footage of, like, people being chased down the street. But, this is a little bit different. The broadcast centered on the custody dispute involving an Insta-famous cavoodle. Someone asked what a cavoodle was. That is a cavalier crossed with a poodle, I believe. Hang on. Shit. Cavoodle. Also known as a cavapoo. Hybrid of a King Charles Cavalier and a poodle. Yep, I got it right. Where are we? The broadcast centered on the dispute involving the Insta-famous cavoodle called Oscar, who was looked after by Miss Edwards, her husband Ken Flavel, and a friend Mark Gillespie, as part of their shared custody arrangement. They have a fucking shared custody arrangement over a dog. Tell me you're not over someone without telling me you're not over someone. Mr. Flavel was called to give evidence during Miss Edwards' federal court proceedings against the 9 News program. iPhone footage captured by a current affair journalist, Stephen Marshall, was played to the court, in which he follows Mr. Flavel and the cavoodle along down the street. "Is it really worth it, Ken?" Mr. Marshall is heard saying. Miss Edwards, a decorated Sydney barrister, is suing a current affair and one of its journalists, Stephen Marshall, over 2 broadcasts which she claims falsely implied she was a thief who stole Oscar. She also claims that they falsely implied she exploited the dog for financial benefit and deliberately attempted to delay a civil court case. Why would you consider that defamatory? Solicitors and barristers deliberately try to delay cases all the time, in my personal opinion. Not really sure that I would class that as defamatory. Miss Edwards wants the story removed from the internet and its archives, as well as payment for the damage incurred. Yeah, good luck with that. The internet's forever. Nine has denied defaming Miss Edwards, saying the imputations of theft and stealing were not conveyed. On Tuesday, Mr. Flavel told the court Oscar's expenses between the trio would be split when they looked after the dog. Mr. Flavel told the court it was a 3-parent relationship because the dog's owner, Mr. Gillespie, and himself travelled for work frequently. What? What? Mark brought Oscar over to us. He told us that we were going to share. We purchased bedding, toys, and food for it. How? What? All this over a fucking dog that's not... like... How insta-famous is this dog? How much is the... That's the only thing I can see. How much money are they making off of this dog? That is the only thing that I can see here why this would be even remotely relevant. Mark's apartment was close to my office, so he would grant us access with a key to go and check on him. Mr. Flavel and Miss Edwards had access to a puppy cam to watch Oscar at Mr. Gillespie's North Sydney home. Why? Posts on Oscar's Instagram pages referred to Miss Edwards as Mummy. Mr. Flavel gave... have they adversely possession of the dog for, 2/3? What the fuck? Mr. Flavel gave evidence Mr. Gillespie said he needed to work abroad in mid-2018 and Oscar would be spending time with his relatives in Wingello in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. He said Miss Edwards was reduced to tears during an argument with Mr. Gillespie over the arrangement. It ended with Mr. Gillespie saying, "Keep the fucking dog." It was his fucking dog! I don't understand this. Can someone help me, wrap my head around this? Enough to pay for lawyers? Yeah, quite possibly. Miss Flavel said Oscar appeared to lose weight and was unkempt when he was returned from Wingello. iPhone footage filmed by Mr. Marshall depicted Mr. Flavel walking Oscar through the streets, which was played to the court, with Mr. Marshall asking if that's Mark's dog. "What gives you the right to take Oscar from Mark?" Mr. Marshall was heard asking. Mr. Flavel said he was followed for another 10 minutes. Excuse me. So he was walking the dog down the street, and someone comes up and asks him a few questions about it. But oh no, that's being harassed. Because he stole a fucking dog, apparently, according to the allegations. See you, Rabbit. Mr. Flavel described his wife as a shell of a person after the confrontation with the film crew. The barrister was a shell of a person after confrontation with the film crew. You want to run that by me again? A high-profile, high-charging barrister was a shell of a person after a confrontation with a film crew? All I can see from this is that maybe laying the groundwork for a loss of future earnings claim, maybe? Maybe? That's my own personal opinion on it, but holy shit. Fair enough. Amanda's out too. I'm guessing it must be that time of night. That's fine, guys. I will probably get out of here soon anyway, because I have to go to a graduation ceremony, so... Alright, shit, where are we? Mr. Flavel told the court Miss Edwards was very scared to go outside after the program, fearing she would be filmed again. Nine's barrister... I'm sure that's assuming... maybe it's not. Dewid Sibtain? Can't tell if that's a typo, if it's supposed to be David or not. Asked Mr. Flavel if Oscar's fame could potentially have made a profit. We didn't see any money from it, he responded. Friends of Jean Edwards, a decorated Sydney barrister, gave evidence of how her personality changed, with Valerie Roche saying she considered Mr. Edwards warm, hospitable and very generous before the broadcast. Miss Roche said every 5 to 6 weeks she would help ferry Oscar between Sydney and Wingello due to Mr. Gillespie's contact being extended, the court was told. She said that the cavoodle always appeared well-groomed while staying with Miss Edwards, but when she picked him up he always looked fairly scrappy and thinner. This is actually what I'm talking about. You know, when I started this channel, I thought I'd be doing some serious, like, case analysis and all that sort of shit. And I still plan on. But right now, I am talking about a barrister arguing over a dog that from all first impressions does not belong to her anyway. And how that emotionally affected her and gave her like proud of those moments, especially with dealing with adversity and overcoming. Anyway, alright. Then you ended up with us, so you kiss your plans goodbye. No, I haven't kissed the plans goodbye. I've got to find the time to do some serious stuff. So, dogs are serious subjects. Fair enough. Well, let's get on to a not-so-serious subject. Climate change. Is Dwayne still watching? I picked this one specifically to rile him up. Climate activist Deanna Violet Coco released on bail. A climate activist who was sentenced to a minimum of 8 months imprisonment for a stunt which blocked the Sydney Harbour Bridge has been released on bail on the condition that she not go within 1 kilometre of the bridge. Earlier this month, Deanna Violet Coco was sent to prison for a minimum of 8 months after pleading guilty to 7 charges, including using an unauthorised explosive not as prescribed, possessing a bright light distress signal in a public place, and interfering with the safe operation of a bridge. She lit off a flare. Like, you know, one of the ones that you rip and you wave around. So, yeah. The 31-year-old immediately applied for bail on the basis of an appeal, but Magistrate Alison Hawkins denied the application. Now the application has been heard in the New South Wales District Court in front of Judge Timothy Gardelman, as more than 100 people gathered outside the Downing Centre on Tuesday ahead of the hearing. Coco appeared via video link on Tuesday afternoon wearing her prison greens with her brown hair pushed to her shoulder, who the fuck cares, as she was represented by defence lawyer Michael Blair. Where did I go? Crown Prosecutor Nicholas Leach told the court bail was opposed on 2 conditions. Failure to appear being number 1, there being no previous failure to appears, but the Crown submits that the risk manifests as a result of the decision in the local court. The safety of victims and the local community is another concern. Really? On the basis that the court did grant bail, Mr. Leach asked that the court impose strict conditions such as a curfew and not to go within 1 kilometre of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Judge Gardelman told the court that while it was not his responsibility to determine whether the sentence was appropriate, he said it was his job to consider whether she would fail to appear at future court appearances. He noted Coco had previous offending on a record in other states, but had no instances of failing to appear at court. Determination I am presently making is not whether the sentence was appropriate, but rather the extent of the risk of the applicant failing to appear at a hearing for the prospect of imprisonment. In these circumstances, I'm not satisfied she would represent an unacceptable risk of having to appear. The judge told the court Coco was subject to a conditional bail since April 14 and complied with a curfew amongst other conditions. And yet they found her on a bridge. He said the proposed condition would mitigate any risks. In all these circumstances, I'm not satisfied that the applicant would represent an unacceptable risk for endangering the community, subject to the conditions opposed. I am not satisfied the applicant represents an unacceptable risk and bail be granted. Coco must be of good behaviour while living in Sydney until the end of the year. She is not to go within 1 kilometre of the Harbour Bridge, and when she moves back to Lismore, she is not to enter the Greater Sydney area. She's also not allowed to apply for a passport, must deposit a surety of $10,000, and can't go within 100 metres of a point of international departure. The 31-year-old nodded her head in excitement as she was granted bail and thanked the judge. I'll bet she did. Outside court, lawyer Eddie Lloyd told the media Coco should never have been in prison. Bullshit. Like, she blocked the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Like, that's... How do I put this into perspective? It's like blocking one of the streets in downtown Manhattan. It pisses a lot of the people the fuck off. Like, yes, it might just be an inconvenience to people, but, you know, there should still be fucking consequences for this shit. She's been in a prison cell for 11 days, in lockdown for 24/7. Today, finally, we've got her out, and hopefully we'll keep her out. These laws are the most anti-democratic, cruel laws that curtail our freedom of speech to express how we feel about what's going on in the world today. That's horse shit. She could demonstrate, she could do whatever she wanted. She provided a clear and present danger to people that were in the community. She blocked traffic, she kept people on that bridge. It's a fucking dangerous situation. Wish our government had been harsher on the activists blocking up everything in London, the motorways and the ports. All I hear is Coco the gorilla with extreme intelligence and was held in captivity, overstimulated. This is confusing my brain, but I haven't slept in 3 days. You okay? Nothing a semi-truck couldn't handle, just roll some coal. Oh, shit. Cat amongst the pigeons time. Police officer who fatally shot a black woman through her window says he thought a burglary was taking place. A former Texas officer who fatally shot a black woman through a window in her home has claimed in testimony before the court that he thought a burglary was taking place at the time and that he saw a gun pointed at him before shooting. Aaron Dean, the now former police... Oh, this is the Aaron Dean trial. It's the case that Nick's covering, yeah. The now former police officer was charged with fatally shooting 28-year-old Atiana Jefferson inside her Fort Worth, Texas home on October 2019. For more coverage, see Ricada Law. Mr. Dean said that at the murder trial on Monday, he was responding to a call about open doors at Jefferson's home. He added that he was searching the home's perimeters, he saw someone in the window holding a gun towards him. Officials say Jefferson, who was playing video games with her then 8-year-old nephew, was holding a gun when she was killed. Her nephew later told authorities his aunt pulled out a gun after hearing suspicious noises behind the house. Body camera footage showed Mr. Dean did not identify himself as police. He resigned from the Fort Worth Police Department after the shooting. Mr. Dean said he was responding to an open structure call at around 2:30 in the morning. Damn. Okay. A neighbour had called a non-emergency number about his concerns about open doors at her house. On Monday, Mr. Dean said that he saw the home's front inner door open and objects strewn across the floor inside and thought a burglary was taking place. He said he had entered Jefferson's backyard through a fence with his partner and approached the home when he saw the silhouette of a person inside the home near the window. I thought we had a burglar, so I stepped back, straightened up and drew my weapon, then pointed it towards the figure. Lovely. Just the ads. Like, that is in no way targeted, by the way. Very SF situation, the cop fucked up. I'm looking right down the barrel of the gun when I saw the barrel of a gun pointed at me. I fired a single shot from my duty weapon. When my vision cleared, I then observed the person that we now know to be Miss Jefferson. I heard her scream and then I saw her fall. When he was asked by his attorney why he shot through the window as quickly as he did, he responded, "We are taught to meet deadly force with deadly force. We were not taught that we have to wait." I wasn't upset, I wasn't confused because I didn't know if it was a dream and I wasn't waking up still, said Jefferson's 11-year-old nephew in harrowing remarks earlier last week during the opening arguments of the trial. The jury chuckled when Zion opened the front door, which attracted the police... What? Chuckled? When he opened the front door, which attracted the police call in the first place, was because he and his beloved aunt, Tay, had been cooking and burning hamburgers. They planned to eat during the late-night session of playing Call of Duty. At various points during his testimony, the 8-year-old choked up and could be heard sobbing in the hallway during breaks. From news to politics... Oh, that's just a plug for the website. Prior issue restricting me to is resolved, buddy, so free... Oh, lovely. Excellent. We'll set up a time. This really is just one messed up situation, though. The neighbour who called it in was very much in fault for causing the situation. Depends what they said in the phone call. I mean, if they literally called... If they actually called a non-emergency number saying, "Hey, I think something's going on because it looks like my neighbour's doors are open," I wouldn't hold them at fault for that. I mean, I know that that certain segments of society are, not used to looking out for their neighbours, shall we say. But it's just, I don't know. It sounds like a very fucked up situation. To me, it sounds like a terrible accident that could have been avoided. But then, I haven't been watching the trial coverage, so I don't know what the go is. So... Horrible situation, completely moronic department policy of quietly sneaking around the structure to catch someone in the act, just announcing into the home after setting a perimeter. That would make sense. No, you can't hold the caller at fault. The cop's the one who fucked up. The cop's the one that pulled the trigger. A 90-year-old woman has received her college degree in Illinois. A woman who dropped out of college a few semesters shy of graduating has finally presented with a bachelor's degree at the age of 90 at Northern Illinois University. The Del Cab School announced its graduating class Sunday included Joyce Defoe, 90, of Genesco, the oldest person to ever graduate from the university. Defoe enrolled in what was then known as Northern Illinois State Teachers College in 1951 and attended for 3.5 years before dropping out to get married and start a family. She returned to school in 2019, took online classes to complete a bachelor's degree, which she received at Sunday's graduation ceremony. Defoe said she hopes her accomplishment will inspire others to finish their educations. "You can't put a value on it, in my opinion," she said. "Just don't give up. I mean, you have the opportunity, take the opportunity, and you never know. A lot of us get sidetracked, but whatever, go back." Well, there you go. Alright, that covers us for the news articles for today, people. So let's go ahead and do... Damn it, I hit the wrong button on my phone and now I gotta restart. Alright. 136, okay. We have a specific page. 166, 128, getting closer. 34. Okay, we are heading back to 1861 with the Government Printing Office. Joint Resolution number 25, James Buchanan, 1791 to 1868. Documenting the labours of government represents a fundamental aspect of American legal history. Only by fixing words in tangible form, by printing them, can we openly chronicle the progression of legislative, executive, and judicial lawmaking. Shortly after the first Congress in 1789, the Founding Fathers recognised the need for printing laws and other proceedings. They hired local printers to publish the House Journal and Acts of Congress, but they encountered frequent delays and inaccurate reporting. For 40 years, Congress vacillated between a fixed rate system whereby each chamber of Congress elected printers and set a fixed rate of payment, and a contract system in which the printers bid on government printing opportunities. Because both systems eventually resulted in a financial concern, the House and Senate passed a reform bill, Joint Resolution Number 25. President James Buchanan then signed it into law as the Printing Act of June 23, 1860, establishing the Government Printing Office. The joint resolution provided for the purchase of the necessary buildings, machinery, and materials for the purpose of establishing a physical printing office. In December 1860, the government acquired a printing plant at the corner of North Capitol and H Street, the same corner the GPO still occupies in Washington, D.C. The Government Printing Office soon achieved significant savings in printing costs, securing its own permanence as an indispensable part of the government. Over the next century, the GPO printed some of the most important documents in American history, including the Emancipation Proclamation and constitutional amendments, as well as the more mundane materials such as the Smokey the Bear flyers and cookbooks for military mess staff. Celebrating the GPO's 150th anniversary, public printer Robert Topala remarked, "There are vast differences in the way that the Government Printing Office carries out its work in the digital age, but our mission remains fundamentally the same, producing and distributing government publications, the documents of our democracy, to keep America informed." The propaganda that must have come out of that printing press. Recognizing the GPO's embrace of an increasing digital world, congressional legislation enacted in 2014 officially changed the agency's name to the Government Publishing Office. And that was today's Laws of the Land. Alrighty, where are we? So, thank you to the 46 still watching on YouTube, and the... hang on, where's it gone? And to the 12 watching over on Rumble, and thank you very much for the Rumbles. Hit the plus if you haven't already, very much appreciate that. Ask a quick question before we go? Yeah, of course, Lena, go for it. Tell you what, guys. We'll give it 15 minutes. If anyone's got questions or anything like that, feel free to throw them in chat, within reason. Mighty, you know I'm looking at you. And we'll do what we can. Okay? I more or less was going to end it just because I've got the graduation, but I don't need to be there until 2. And I was out of material, frankly. So, what's the photo in the background of? What, as in that one? That is not a photo. That is actually a piece of artwork done by a local Australian artist. I like to think of it as the whole fingers thing, like an interpretation of that. I've got no idea what the artist actually put behind it, but I think it's quite nice. My mother got me that for my birthday a couple of years ago. So, what else we got? Oh, hang on, that jumped. How big is the dong? Big enough to get the job done. Hadn't even begun typing yet, you dick. I know you. Enjoyed the stream? Fantastic. I'm very glad to hear that. Favourite Spice Girl? I used to like Posh, but then she became a... didn't she marry David Beckham or something? I don't know. Probably Baby. So... great in the chat interaction, really caring about it all. Yeah, and look, guys, I'm well aware that I've sort of had to dial back the chat interaction at the start of the videos, but that's more because of the whole retention rate bullshit and all that sort of thing. So, I mean, I did say that I was going to start including more of a chit-chat aspect, so this probably works. What is the logistics on College Dropout Burger? Is it anywhere near your offices? Will there be a day we buy Kanye Burger and rate them? That may be coming up sooner than you think, Sean. Yeah, we will see. So, self-satisfying size. Yeah, pretty much. What's the bottle of blue stuff on the shelf? So that, we get that fairly frequently. That's just a bottle of absinthe. But because I used to have a green screen behind me, I've still got the green screen filter on. So hang on, if I... Where's my camera? I can show you. I mean, it's a little bit of stuffing around, but I can do this. Transform, where's my filters? Edit filter. There, see? No more shimmering, no more sparkling. But I kind of like it. And if I add more chroma keys to it, it makes it a little bit more sparkly. So, but yeah, that's more or less what that was. I just leave it on because I think it's fun. Will I have any of my mods on again? Yeah, look, I think it's a very good thing to interact with the mods. No one interacts with chat more than Aussie, really? I don't know why. It's a key part of it, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, because I feel like you guys, if you guys weren't here, I wouldn't be either. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's 44 people watching. I personally would be... Do I love black people? Of course I love black people. What are you fucking kidding me? I actually don't know what it's from. I have no idea if I just fucked up or not. I'm pretty sure it's from the it's the footage from one of Nick's interviews, isn't it? What was I saying? Yeah, that's what I was saying about interacting with chat. It's Jesse Lee Peterson. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm streaming to one person that's out in the middle of Antarctica, I'll still put a show on. But you guys make this worth it. So, thank you. And that's more or less why I try and do my best to interact. So... Lovable people. Oh, look, there's some people that piss me off. But anyway. How many men have I had sex with? Just myself. I know you're desperate. Stop hinting. It's not going to happen, Mighty. Absinthe is wonderful stuff. Cheers to the Green Fairy. It knocks me on my ass. I'm not going to lie. Easy when you only have a handful of regulars talking. It's impossible when you've got hundreds of randos. That is true. And look, guys, and that's the whole point, okay? That's why, for the most part, I would prefer if you guys are able to, like, at least hit the button or whatever it is without having to pay on locals so that, you know, I can still sit and do the small chats and the small talks because, yeah, like when we have hundreds of people in here, it gets difficult to talk. It really does. And I would prefer to maintain these sorts of... I shudder to call it a relationship, but it's really a form of a relationship. I would much rather maintain the interaction with you guys. So... What's that? You want me to stop simping? Why do people say New Zealanders have sex with sheep? That is because it's a long-running joke. I mean, I'm not 100% sure where it originated, but Aussies have been giving Kiwis shit about that for so long, and it's sort of like permeated out there. Actually, it's a good question. Hang on. Origin of sheep shagging joke. New Zealand. Okay. News article just popped up. Google confirms all New Zealanders are sheep shaggers. It remains Aussie's favourite put down for Kiwis, and now Google says it's true. Us Kiwis are all sheep shaggers, according to the New Zealand Herald back in 2017. That's a bit fucking funny. I might have to do a special report on that. So, there we go. Would miss the chat response, I must say. That's what makes you unique and lovely. Cheers. How many more do we need on locals before we can stream more? It's a damn good question. Oh, fuck, I haven't even got locals open. Jesus. Oh, I'm going to have some pissed off people. I'm looking forward to it. After Christmas, I'm aiming to upgrade my setup, because right now I'm really putting my laptop through its paces. I'm going to get a dedicated actual streaming PC so that I can have everything done properly and I can have pretty much everything open without the computer dying after Chrome eats up too much of the memory. Let's have a look. I can't tell how long ago those messages were. What's that? There he is, only 2 hours late. Lol, screaming cock finally on duty. Oh, you rooster. That took me a bit. Oh, shit, that's funny. Just use my Shadow PC, works amazing, $30 US a month. Look, I would, but this is also technically a computer that I use for other things that I wouldn't want anyone to have direct access to. Not that I can really avoid that, but, you know. If I can avoid giving direct access, that's probably for the best. Alright, let's have a look. What was I going into? Looking at the membership numbers. Current community tier. 263 emails sent. Damn, that must be annoying. Dashboard. Oh, we currently have 316 members, we have 26 active supporters, which means I need another 24 before I can stream for an hour on locals. So, was that? Chat is like a beautiful little gay home where we all meet up and get weird. It's a good place. You prick! Why are you going to be streaming on Mighty's channel? We went to all that effort. Renting server space and running a complete computer remotely, you'll be completely off the map. Okay. Ooh, there goes the stomach. Oh, of course. I get invited to a Christmas lunch that's tomorrow. I think I'll be missing that, unfortunately. Where are we? Linktree. Alrighty. Last chance for you to go and give a like and subscribe to Corey at Cracked... was it Crack the... Oh, fuck, now I've forgotten. Corey is aiming to get to his 200 subs so he can get knighted. Go and give him a like and subscribe, people, if you haven't already. In the meantime, I'm putting my Linktree in the chat so that everything is there. Okay. Shay's not here. She is, I mean, but she's in Locals Rumble. I'm here. Linda's here. We're good. Okay. Alright. That's the main thing. When I was in high school, a kid got caught in the FFA barn, Future Farmers of America, with a sheep. He wasn't shearing it. That's a bit disturbing. Look up My Shadow PC. It's the safest option. Okay. You got some drops? Oh, that should be fun. Okay. Ran huge servers in a basement for my husband's work. Did you really? Okay. This, Lorraine, it's... I appreciate it, but it's... I've done better work. I'll be perfectly honest. Setting up now, dump into Mighty's when you're done. That's sort of why I'm fumfering, guys. Like, even if you guys just get the fucking thing, like, set up so that I've got somewhere to send it to, that would be great. So that's my own thing there. Edit. Oh damn, all the different things that vidIQ adds to your YouTube stuff behind the scenes. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, don't worry, I'll send yours over. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Run call centers for the local hospital, Huntington Bank, Talbot Hearst magazines. Wow. Okay, interesting. Yeah, look, Mighty, even if you just schedule a video just so that then I can select to it, it'll send them over so that there's a chat. Because, yeah, I probably... Do you have like 5? I can only see 3. Which one is it? I got 3. I got News and Views, R-rated. I'm assuming it's not the Build and Chat Fun Day. And then you've got Travel Wednesday. Nope, that is not how you spell Mighty. Alright. Chilling with Valhalla awaits. Okay, I can't see it. Alright, that's fine. What I'll do is I will search for it. Okay, so Linda's just got a... It's in your live? Alright, hang on. Oh yeah, okay, I can see that live now. Alright, so add the redirect. Wow, that's really strange. It's not coming up in the redirect. Like, I can see it. I can see that it's there. I can click on it. Maybe if I close out of the content and go back. In the meantime, guys, throw the link in chat and people can make their way over there. Yeah, because I can definitely see it. So why is that not allowing me to do that? Station. Redirect. What do you need? I don't know, maybe it just hasn't proliferated yet. Yeah, YouTube is always messy. So, that's fine. Alright, what I'll do is I'll throw it in chat for anyone that just wants to head over there until I can actually work this out. Yeah, no, I can see it in the home tab and everything too. In YouTube Studios, for some reason, it's not letting me send to that specific video, and I can't just send to a channel. Send you? I'm waiting. Okay, all right, Sean. Oh, there it goes. Okay, all right, that should be fine there. So that's saved. Just click over on the screen. The raid functions only work for you once. Okay, fair enough. All right, guys. Well, final word. As always, take care of yourself. Be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And try and make the world a little bit of a better place, if you can manage it. As always, I'm Aussie Overlaw'd, and this has been Law News and Laughter. I'll catch you on the flip side. On the second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 2 pink galahs and an emu up a gum tree.